the #1 source for everything baseball. This is MLB.com Radio.
Hi, everyone, and welcome out to Scottsdale Stadium as we get ready to call the action for the Grand Canyon Rafters taking on the Peoria Javelinas. Victor Rojas alongside today, my partner, Brett Dolan, and Brett Dolan, the voice of the Tucson Sidewinders. Very familiar with a lot of these guys because, as you know, not too many AAA leagues in the Pacific Coast League, a grand league as it is, and we get to see a couple of ball clubs. We haven't seen the Grand Canyon Rafters yet. This is our first opportunity to see them. But we have seen the Peoria Javelinas as they were involved in a nice, crazy game on Tuesday afternoon here in Scottsdale, 15-14 loss to the Scottsdale Scorpions. And Frank White's team right now struggling, of course, 5-17 here in the Arizona Fall League, 6 games back. They've lost 4 in a row. And the Grand Canyon Rafters 10-12, a game back. They've won 3 in a row, so they're playing a little bit better baseball here of late. Like I said, this is a nice fall league. It's a good league as far as the prospects are concerned. And Brett Dolan, I know you've seen some of these guys, and we'll get a chance to talk to Lance Necro, a guy who spent time in the PCL with the San Francisco Giants, and also a little bit later on we'll have some more interviews. But your impression of the Arizona Fall League? I mean, you've lived down in Tucson, you understand it, and you've been exposed to it.
Well, it's great to sneak away and watch a few of these games whenever you get a chance because you're going to see a lot of guys that are going to be in the major leagues in a few years. And for me, I'm going to see a few guys that are going to be in the PCL. As you mentioned, there's a few guys like DeJesus and Linden and Necro, guys that I had a chance to see last year. But there's also a few kids from A-Ball and AA that are in this league that we're going to get a chance to see very soon at the AAA and probably the major league level.
Yep, definitely. Well, Grand Canyon has taken the field, and we'll run down the starting lineups for the visiting Peoria Javelinas. Leading it off and playing second base will be Aaron Miles out of the White Sox organization. Jamal Strong will bat second. He's out in center field, of course, for the Mariners org. It's David DeJesus of the Royals organization out in right field, batting third. Batting cleanup will be Ryan Hankins, who was the DH the other day, but he'll be behind the plate doing the catching. He's from the White Sox organization. The DH today will be Scott Bukowski, also from the White Sox organization. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth over at first base, Chad Santos out of the Royals organization. Batting seventh, John Lavendera out of the Expos org. He is the third baseman today. Batting eighth will be Terrell Goodwin from the Blue Jays. He'll play in left field and bat eighth. Russ Adams will bat ninth and play shortstop, and he is also from the Blue Jays organization. So once again for the Javelinas, it'll be Miles, Strong, DeJesus, Hankins, Bukowski, Santos, Lavendera, Goodwin, and Adams to face the right-hander, Henry Bonilla, out of the Minnesota Twins organization. Bonilla down here, 1-0 mark, a 15 2/3 innings so far, 18 hits, 7 strikeouts, 6 walks. This will be his 4th start, and he comes in with an ERA of 4.60. And since we have some time, we'll run down, of course, Grand Canyon's lineup as well. Nuke Logan will bat leadoff and play center field from the Tigers. Batting second will be Sean Boyd. He is from the Cardinals organization out in left field. Batting third, the DH, Mike Vento from the Yankees. Todd Linden will bat cleanup for the Giants and play right field. Terry Tiffey will play first from the Twins organization and bat fifth. It'll be Michael Hernandez out of the Yankees organization doing the catching. Donald Kelly will bat seventh over at shortstop from the Tigers. It'll be Jake Maurer out of the Twins batting eighth and playing third base, and batting ninth, Jamie Athos out of the Giants organization, and he'll play second base. It'll be Logan, Boyd, Vento, Linden, Tiffey, Hernandez, Kelly, Maurer, and Athos. As Miles takes a first pitch fastball in there for strike one, and we're underway here from Scottsdale, Arizona. And just to rub it in, as far as the weather is concerned, everywhere else around here has been beautiful. As Miles lines one into right field to lead off the ball game with a single. It is sunny, although there are some clouds in the sky. About 85 degrees here at Scottsdale, Arizona. A little bit breezy, and because of the winds, especially because of the horrific wildfires that are happening in California, the winds have brought some of the smoke towards the Arizona area, but otherwise it is a nice day. Wind blowing out towards left field, snap throw to first base, and Miles back safely. And Brett, you know, I was talking about it a little bit earlier, and I mentioned it in Tuesday's broadcast. This is our second broadcast here in Scottsdale. This is a big, big ballpark. 360 down and left, 430 dead center field, and 340 down the right field line. As Strong lays down a bunt up the third base line. Nice play by Maurer on the run to throw him out. And that'll move Miles to second base. Strong retired 5-3. So with one out, a man on at second base, that'll bring up David DeJesus.
Well, even watching batting practice today, and with the winds howling out towards left center field, balls still weren't exactly jumping out of here with those dimensions. 430 to center, a deep power alley. So we'll see if the outfielders get an adventure trying to track down a few of those today, having so much ground to cover and contend with those winds.
Yeah, it's a big-time field here, and we saw it the other day as far as what could happen on a field like this. 33 hits pounded out and 29 total runs in that Scottsdale Peoria ball game, with Scottsdale coming from behind, scoring 5 in the 8th, 5 in the 9th inning, and pulling that one out, 15-14.
Sorry I missed that one.
Yeah, so am I. David DeJesus, head of the Royals organization, steps in from the left side, had a 1-0 count, takes a fastball up and away, 4-2. And this is a guy that everyone has talked about, and now rumors, of course, persistent with the Yankees possibly trying to trade for Carlos Beltran. Many have talked about DeJesus and whether or not he has the ability to step right in for Carlos Beltran in Kansas City. But he comes set, big swing and a foul back by DeJesus. 2-1 the count.
Well, you see so many good prospects in this league, and you also see players who need to be here to get more playing time. DeJesus, one of those guys, like so many others in this league, that lost playing time with injuries and really needs to stay healthy to get those last few games to see if he has a chance to complete for a major league job.
He's having a good AFL, 340 average, 2 home runs. A little comebacker right to Bonilla. They have Miles hung up between second and third, runs him back, throws over to the shortstop Kelly, who runs him towards third. Maurer will tag out Miles. DeJesus will head to second base, and there are 2 outs. And a nice play by Bonilla, the pitcher, on the comebacker by DeJesus.
Made sure he ran Miles as far back to second as he could, so he wasn't able to get in that rundown, although DeJesus was able to advance to second.
Well, Miles retired 1-6-5. And there are 2 outs. Man in scoring position is, Fred mentioned, DeJesus going to second on the rundown. That'll bring up Ryan Hankins. Hankins, a right-handed batter of the White Sox organization, getting the start behind the plate today. Right-handed hitter takes a curveball in there for strike 1.
Some guys in this league earn a chance to be here by a good second half, and that's what Bonilla did, putting up good numbers in Double-A after he started slow at A-ball in the Twins organization. 9 wins, very good earned run average.
Bonilla comes set, the 0-1. That's lined right to the shortstop Kelly, and the side essentially retired. 1 hit, no runs, 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the first inning. No score from Scottsdale. AFL action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans, only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Myers. And I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat, and pitch it through and high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature, and kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game, MLB.com radio.
Bottom of the first inning we go. We've run down the lineups for the home team, the Grand Canyon Rafters. Give you the defense for the Peoria Javelinas. It'll be Sean Boyd in left field, Duke Logan in center, Todd Linden in right field, Jake Maurer over at third base, Donald Kelly at short. It'll be Jamie Athos at second base, Terry Jiffy is at first base, and Michael Hernandez will do the catching for the right-handed starter, Cameron Reimers. Reimers comes in with an 0-1 mark, a 4.50 earned run average. This will be his 4th start so far this year. 10 innings of work here in the AFL, 11 hits. He has struck out 6, walked nobody. So he's who's showing some pretty good control, is Reimers out of the Blue Jays organization.
Well, big kid, 6'5", Missoula, Montana native, and one of the few guys in this league, not a high draft pick, 35th round back in '98, but another guy that had a good year in Double-A, New Haven, to get a chance to come here and show his stuff in the Fall League.
Yeah. There's quite a few of those guys as far as non-drafted free agents. There's one behind the plate, his battery mate, Hernandez, out of Cuba, defected. As Logan takes a first pitch fastball in there for strike one. But as you scour the AFL this year, it is a little bit different than years past. And whether or not Team USA had an effect on that as far as the talent is concerned, as Logan pulls one foul up the first baseline in the hole with no balls and 2 strikes. Of course, that will be debated. But the pitching, of course, you're not looking at 2 ball clubs today that are pitching savvy, as Grand Canyon comes in with a team ERA of 5.77 and the Javelinas at 5.29. But then again, I thought the other day, the 2 worst scoring teams in the AFL, and they pound out 29 runs. As Logan fouls one back to the screen. And still in the hole with no 0-2.
Sometimes when you come to the Fall League, you can afford to work on maybe that pitch that you weren't able to do in the regular season, maybe try and refine a breaking ball or work on a change-up or your control. Then you might experiment a little more than you would during the regular season, and sometimes that leads to some wild games.
Sure. 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball missing inside off the glove of Hernandez. Shoots to the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Logan of the Tigers organization, center fielder, 239 average down here, no home runs. 9 runs batted in. It's from the left side. 1-2 pitch on the way from the big right-hander. Fastball missing high and in.
You wonder guys like Logan and others that play in that Tigers organization, if they don't get a bit more anxious about spring training than some others, knowing that if they put together good numbers, whether it's in the Fall League or spring training, who knows? There might be opportunities for them to play at the next level quicker than some other guys.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've asked that a lot of Delman Young and B.J. Upton. As Logan grounds one over to the shortstop, Russ Adams, who throws on the first for the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. And they feel the same way. And of course, each one of them says, no disrespect to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, but the way that franchise is built, it is built, of course, to bring up young talent as soon as they deem it ready to be brought up. And sometimes they're force-fed at the major league level, and it behooves some of these kids to kind of get their work in down here in the Arizona Fall League. So one out in the bottom of the first, that'll bring up Sean Boyd of the Cardinals. And Boyd lines one into left center field, Strong, the center fielder, going over to his right, and he'll make the catch on the run for the second out. There's a kid, Jamal Strong from the Mariners, to just flat out fly and cover some ground here, especially in the big ballpark that is Scottsdale Stadium.
That'll bode well in Safeco Field. You think of some of the guys, they have to go get it in the outfield, and they certainly aren't short on outfielders who can play defense, but they keep finding ways to produce them.
Yeah, not, as you mentioned, he does kind of have that Mike Cameron type of look about him. Not as tall as Cameron, of course. As Mike Vento, the DH, takes a fastball in there for strike one.
Of course, if you had Ichiro on one side and Randy Wynn on another, you don't have to cover all the ground. You can just let those guys take a few.
That's right. Curveball catches the inside corner. Vento in the hole at 0-2. No score, bottom of the first. Grand Canyon Rafters against the Peoria Javelinas. Todd Linden awaits on deck. 0-2 pitch on the way. Big curveball bounces in front of the plate. Hernandez can't keep that ball in front of him. 1-2 the count. Tomorrow afternoon wraps up our first week of the Arizona Fall League. We got 2 more weeks to go here on MLB.com radio. 1-2 pitch on the way, big curveball away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And tomorrow afternoon we'll be right here in Scottsdale as the Scorpions host the Mesa Desert Dogs. Desert Dogs in first place, although they just haven't even 500 mark. Reimers winds, the 2-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen. So Vento hanging tough here, having a nice season in the Arizona Fall League, a .324 average, 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Mentioned he's from the Yankees organization, batting from the right side. Curveball missing low. And the count has run full to 3-2. Payoff pitch on the way, and that fastball is pulled towards the shortstop, Adams. He gets it, backhands it, throws on the run in time to get Vento for the third out. Nice defensive play by Adams from the Blue Jays. 3 up and 3 down for Cameron Reimers. We've played 1, no score from Scottsdale, Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
Right now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful Major League career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL of Fame.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot shot for 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stearns. And Stearns can cut off mascot. Now that's
Teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund, a partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
Now, top of the second inning we go. Scott Bukowski, the designated hitter, took a pitch outside for ball 1. Awaits the next offering from Bonilla, and it's a called strike. So the count is evened up at 1-1. No score, top of the second inning. Victor Rojas alongside my good friend and Tucson Sidewinders broadcaster, Fred Dolan. Fred, very world-renowned as far as the Pacific Coast League is concerned.
That's a pretty illustrious lead-in right there. I don't know about that.
And you called some big league games with Montreal Expos this year.
But you call them every day.
Yeah. Boy, and I'm just having a blast doing it. The 2-1 pitch was fouled back and out of play, so the count is evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
But it is good to be here. It's always good to sneak out of the office, take in some fall league action whenever you can. See some good young aspiring players.
There's no question about that. 2-2 pitch, and that one's fouled off to the left side and will not stay in the stadium.
I mean, there's some guys that we know a lot of, and there's a few players we've already mentioned like DeJesus, and there's others that we really don't know anything about like Bonilla, but I have a feeling this guy's probably a pretty interesting story when you start to think about it.
Yep, Bukowski is battling Bonilla here. This one's fouled into the seats. Down that third base side, count still even at 2-2.
Born in El Salvador, went to school in Tulane, lives in Reno, pitched for Minnesota, in Fort Myers and New Britain, and is now here in the Fallbrook. He's been all over the place.
Tic-tac-toe. 2-2, that was lined into dead center field, but it looks like Logan's got a beat on it, and he does, as he tracks it down for the first out.
I mean, how does somebody born in El Salvador go to school in New Orleans and then live in Reno? That doesn't make any sense.
That's some serious recruiting right there. Nothing wrong with that. To remind you, Lance Necro from the Giants organization is going to join us in a little while. Also, James Shank, an outfielder out of the Kansas City Royals organization. He'll join us a little bit later on, talk about their experiences down here in the Arizona Fall League. As Chad Santos from the Royals, getting to start at first base, takes a pitch low for ball 1. Santos, a 190 average, left-handed batter, no home runs, 5 runs batted in. That one right at the knees, called strike 1. Out of the PCL this year, Brett, does anybody stand out as far as guys that you happen to see? I don't know if I'm assuming you saw Harden before he got called up.
Saw Harden. He was one of the few guys that did not have his great outing against Tucson that day. He gave up 5 or 6 runs. You could see the kid had tremendous velocity and ability. Sometimes it's nice when you're evaluating them. If you see them have success, it makes it easier to see how it all comes together. I know he was one of the good young pitchers to come through in a year that there maybe weren't as many good young prospects as the year before with a John Lackey and a Francisco Rodriguez. But you know, you can always find a few guys you can look at and point to. Jamal Strong might be another.
Sure. That one's lined right off the mound into center field for a 1-out base hit. That ball was smoked. Bonilla trying to kick save, but couldn't come up with it.
2 names, though, Victor, that I really liked. And one was Bobby Crosby of Sacramento. This kid has some Ripken qualities to him from the size for a shortstop position. And Rafael Soriano, who was a closer at that time for Tacoma, who went on and actually filled in that role for a brief stint with Seattle when Sasaki went down. But those are 2 guys to keep an eye on. And I didn't get a chance to see Khalil Green, maybe the Padres' future shortstop. We were done with the team by the time he came through.
Yeah, snap throw behind the runner at first base by the catcher, Hernandez. But Santos was able to get back in there. Pitch missed outside to John Lavandera. 1 ball and no strikes. I actually got a chance to see Khalil Green when he was called up with the Padres in San Diego. And he looks pretty legit, that's for sure. I mean, the kid, smooth at shortstop. And I think the Padres are an organization which it's interesting because they could probably take a shot on someone like Green and hide him in the lineup now that they've acquired Brian Giles, and may still go out and acquire Jason Kendall.
And there's talk maybe Maddox if they try and sign him in the free agent off season, and they have some money to spend with that brand new ballpark ready to open next year.
Looking forward to it. Get us out of the queue, the doldrums of Qualcomm Stadium. 2-1 on Lavandera out of the Expos organization. Ground ball left side. Maurer, the third baseman's got it. On to Athos for 1. Over to first in time for the inning-ending double play. So nice round the horn DP. 5-4-3, nothing doing for the Javelinas. No runs, 1 hit. No men left on. We head to the bottom of the second, no score. AFL action live on MLB.com radio.
This is Andy Pettit of the New York Yankees. It's never easy to stand your ground when facing the best hitters in the game, but with practice, you gain confidence. To teach values that go beyond the diamond, Major League Baseball charities and Boys and Girls Clubs of America have teamed up to bring baseball and softball to kids around the world. Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, boys and girls learn about teamwork, fair play, and respect. Because when kids believe in themselves, amazing things can happen.
Get the perfect gift for the baseball fan in your life at MLB Shop on MLB.com. You can purchase jackets, jerseys, caps, and clothes for men, women, and children. Get a snappy new batting practice jersey or a classic replica jersey of your favorite team. You can even customize your jersey. Best of all, it can all be done online. Plus, the MLB Shop has baseball cards, bobblehead dolls, books, videos, and so much more. All purchases are private and secure, and the MLB Shop accepts all major credit cards. Click on the MLB Shop button at the top right of MLB.com and get that perfect gift today.
Raven, we've got bandits at 1 o'clock.
Fights on.
Engaging now.
What kind of person can handle an F-16 dueling in a Mach-speed dogfight? Why, a math teacher, of course, when she's in the National Guard and Reserve. Nearly half of today's military are members of the Guard and Reserve, but they can't do it without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit www.esgr.org and learn how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours. A public service message from ESGR and the Ad Council.
Bottom of the second inning we go. No score from Scottsdale Stadium. Rafters hosting the Peoria Javelinas. Javelinas coming at 5-17, 6 games back, having lost 4 consecutive ball games. Grand Canyon, on the other hand, playing a little bit better baseball. They've won 3 in a row. As they come into this one 10-12, just a game back. 4, 5, and 6 coming up for the Rafters. Todd Linden, Terry Tiffey, and Michael Hernandez. A little dramatic pause there. Victor Rojas alongside Brett Dolan bringing you the action from Scottsdale Stadium. As I was saying, we have 2 weeks left of the Arizona Fall League. It all culminates on November 15th, Saturday, November 15th, right here at Scottsdale Stadium, championship game. First pitch at Linden, swinging on the breaking pitch, came up empty, and his bat actually came around and hit Hankins, the catcher. So Linden in the hole at 0-1. Giants prospect hitting .311. 3 home runs, 9 runs batted in. A left-handed hitter who spent time in the Arizona Fall League last year. 0-1. It's a high fly ball deep to left field. A good one. Has a beat on it, just shy of the warning track. Makes the catch for the first out. You're going to come out and catch any Arizona Fall League action at all. Mark it down. November 15th. Right here at Scottsdale Stadium is the place to be. And they usually draw a pretty good crowd. That's when the MVP award is handed out. It's now been, since last season, renamed the Joe Black Award. As Terry Tiffey swinging at the first pitch, lines went into center field for a one-out base hit.
It's nice sometimes for the Fall League to have the baseball stage to itself. The postseason is over in the World Series, and obviously basketball and football are going on. But, you know, if you're a baseball diehard, this is it for a couple of weeks.
No question about it. Who knows what could happen between now and then as far as the hot stove league is concerned and all the rumors.
We got heated up today in a big fashion.
Manny put on irrevocable waivers, throw over to first base, and Tiffey back safely. No stolen bases in the Arizona Fall League. Big guy doesn't run that much. As Michael Hernandez, the catcher, steps in against Cameron Reimers. Reimers working from the stretch for the first time this afternoon. Big right-hander comes set. First pitch coming. That one's lined right to the third baseman, Lavandera. He throws on to first. Inning-ending double play. So the Peoria Javelinas return the favor. Hernandez smoked one to the third baseman, throws on to first to double up Tiffey. Nothing doing for the Rafters. No runs, 1 hit, no men left on. We've played 2. We're scoreless from Scottsdale. Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in to score, and Cepeda pulling the second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-Hall of Fame.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Show. Get updates on winter leagues and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number 1 baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com radio. Top of the third inning we go. Terrell Goodwin from the Blue Jays organization leads it off for the Javelinas as they'll send up 8-9-1 here in the third inning against Henry Bonilla of the Minnesota Twins organization. Power in at third base, high fastball missing away. 1 ball and no strikes on Goodwin, the left fielder. He comes in hitting .275, no home runs. 2 runs batted in. Very good speed as he takes a pitch on the inside corner to even the count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Off speed, outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, yeah, it's kind of an old-time wind-up himself. He brings those hands way behind his neck and his head, pauses a little bit.
2-1. That one slapped foul wide of the bag at third, and that broke a bat, so good one. We'll have to head back to that third base dugout and retrieve some new lumber. And that'll give us a moment to pontificate about all the things that may or may not happen in the off season, Brett Dolan, and I know you have your pulse on the heartbeat that is the hot stove. Just let me know if I'm throwing you under the bus.
Okay, that's fine. I'll hang with you.
You got to understand, I've been stir crazy for the first 3 days flying solo. Big curveball catches the outside corner. Good one. With the new lumber, we'll have to walk it right back to that dugout. So 1 out, and that'll bring up shortstop Russ Adams.
Well, we're going to find out soon enough some of the postseason winners, and for the first time in several years, there are some categories that maybe there's a little bit of doubt left out there. The Rookies of the Year, maybe the American League Cy Young, and now all of a sudden the team that was within a few outs from the World Series may need a new manager. Their star player may be on a different team. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it sure is. And, of course, the only place to catch all the action as to what's happening is on MLB.com radio. As Adams pulls one into the right field, base hit, Linden goes over to cut it off towards his right. And Adams is on board. Third hit of this ball game for the Javelinas. They've had singles in each of the first 3 innings.
And I think the fun part, Victor, is when you pick up the paper and you look at the guys that are free agents, and this is even before you start to get into the non-tendered and guys that are going to be available. You start to look at the list and the Maddoxes and the Colognes, and it's really an extensive list. And I think there's a lot of teams, there are a lot of fans that have to believe their team can get a chance or has a chance if they can sign a few of these guys.
No question. And again, you know, what the Florida Marlins were able to accomplish. And, you know, last year, it's funny because everyone loves the buzz term. Last year as well, let's model ourselves after the Angels. Hit and run is on. Nice play by Miles. Slaps it through the hole on the left side. Around second is Adams. He'll head to third as Boyd gets the ball back into the infield. And the hit and run works to perfection. And Miles has his second hit of the ball game. And the Javelinas have runners at the corners, first and third with 1 out. And Jamal Strong stepping in. But my point being that, you know, last year was the Twins' way of doing business. Now, all of a sudden, it's, let's look at the way the Marlins are doing business. This is how we want to run our franchise. And you got to keep in mind, it all boils down to, it always boils down to, is you have to have a strong minor league system. You have to have a strong scouting department, because without that, that is the core of which these major league ball clubs are built around, with some added pieces to the puzzle. The Yuki Urbinas of the world, the Rick Hellings that came on board, the Jeff Conine towards the end of the season for the Florida Marlins. So it's not about just buying players on the open market. It's about building that nucleus from the ground up.
Oh, when you see guys like Cabrera and Willis have such a dramatic impact. Now, Willis did during the regular season and really got things turned around in some senses for the Marlins. Cabrera had a tremendous postseason, and these were kids who started in Double-A. So when you start to evaluate your system, you have guys at lower levels that could contribute very quickly.
Strong ground ball to the shortstop. He bobbles it, and everybody's going to be safe as Russ Adams comes across the score. The first run of the ball game gives the Javelinas a 1-0 lead. They would have had a chance for a double play, and I don't know if Donald Kelly may have thought about that with Jamal Strong running up that first base line. Easily would have beat out a throw, at least on the relay situation. So Strong reaches on the air by Kelly. Puts runners at first and second base. Still 1 out. David DeJesus. Big curveball in there for strike 1. DeJesus, 0 for 1, reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning. Has an opportunity to drive in a run here. With Miles on at second. Strong over at first. Bonilla sets the 0-1, fastball away. Count evens at a ball and a strike. One nothing. Javelinas lead at top of the third inning. 1 man out. Bonilla comes set. Big curveball missing down and in. 2-1. It almost looks as if Bonilla is not even coming set. Like a college change of direction move right there. That's the other thing, too. One thing you don't see a whole lot, especially at the big league, a lot of balks called. I've seen 3 balks called already in the first 3 days. But as we talked about, not only a developmental league for players, but also for coaches, managers. Umpires, yeah. Exactly. Bonilla comes set, 2-1 to DeJesus. The hit and run is on, and he grounds one over to the first baseman, Tiffy. His only play is going to be to first. De Jesus retired 3 unassisted for out number 2. Miles moves up to third base, Strong over to second. And it'll be up to Ryan Hankins. With runners at first, second, and third, and 2 outs. Trying to keep things going here. Hankins 0 for 1, lined down to the shortstop in his first at-bat. Hankins had similar opportunities a couple of days ago against the Scottsdale Scorpions and struggled in the runners in scoring position categories as he fouls one back behind the plate. But he ended up getting a couple of knocks later on in the game. Picked up a couple of runs batted in. In a pitcher's duel that was a 15-14 final, Scottsdale picking up the win. Bonilla from the windup, swing and a miss on the curveball. Nice play by Hernandez to block that ball. Hold the runners at bay, and Hankins in the hole, and no balls and 2 strikes. Good speed on the base paths for Peoria. Hernandez sets up outside. Big curveball away. And another nice play by Hernandez. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 3 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon as the Scottsdale Scorpions right here at Scottsdale Stadium host the Mesa Desert Dogs. Arizona Fall League action continues here on MLB.com radio. Another breaking ball, missing low. And Bonilla, after getting ahead of Hankins 0-2, even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hankins has got some pop, 3 jacks already. 14 runs batted in. Kind of has it. Barry Bonds, Gary Sheffield twitch of the bat. He pops one up, shallow left field. Over goes Boyd towards left center field. It's going to be the center fielder Logan calling him off, and he makes a catch for the 3rd out. But not before Peoria puts a run on the board on 2 hits. 1 error was committed. 2 runners left on base. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Javelinas lead it 1-0 as you're listening to AFL action live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks the sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Bottom of the 3rd inning we go. 1-0 Javelinas leading it. Victor Rojas alongside Brett Dolan as we're welcomed into the booth by James Shank out of the Kansas City Royals organization. And, James, how much fun are you having down here in Arizona? This is pretty good. And forget about the baseball talent. We're talking about the talent at night. The nightlife here in Arizona is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Better than Burlington, Iowa. I know that.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Burlington wasn't too much to do. All we did was go in and play video games after every game.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But speaking of talent, in all honesty, this is a pretty good talent to kind of measure yourself as to where you feel you should be going into next year.
Yeah, it's a lot of good talent here. Just to get invited here was real good for me. Just to get the experience to play with a lot of good players, to see how they react to things and how they play the game. It just makes you feel better about yourself and to know what you can do.
Now, what are you doing down here as far as what specifically are you working on? Is there any part of your game that you're working on?
Specifically, I'm working on my defense, working on ground balls and situational things, defensive-wise, just making good decisions, think about the situation before it occurs.
Sure. As the leadoff man, Donald Kelly, just flew out to left field for the first out here in the third inning. That'll bring up Jake Maurer. That's got to be a lot of fun playing for Frank White. I mean, this guy's a legend in Kansas City, actually born in KC, 8 Gold Gloves, knocking on the door as far as Hall of Fame credentials. It's your skipper.
Yeah.
And he could be your skipper next year in Wichita.
Yeah, definitely could. It's a real good experience. He has a lot to say. You really have to listen to him because he knows so much about the game. I think he has like 18 years in the game.
Right.
He's also managed. So you have to take everything in that he says, Sometimes a lot of people say things that help you, and then it'll help you in the long run and it'll help you in the short term too. So you just take everything in possible that and just feed off that.
Sure. You got a cousin playing minor league baseball, don't you?
Yes, sir. I have two.
Okay.
Two. B.J. Halls plays for the Cincinnati Reds, and Jonathan Johnson that plays for Chicago Cubs.
Now, that was the cousin you faced a couple of years ago, right, in the Midwest League?
In the Midwest League,
now, that's bragging rights right there.
Yeah, it is. We played him, I think it was like the 7th inning with like 2 runners on. He robbed me for a base hit. Win the game, kind of got after the game, talking a lot of mess, But it's all in the game, Everything happens.
But you have the most talent, right? That's what you tell everybody. We're not around.
Yeah, when they're not around, I'm the best player, that came from my hometown. And plus, we stay like 5 minutes away, so we always like after each other every day. So it's a nice thing.
There's nothing wrong with that. And James Shank from the Kansas City Royals organization is our guest here in the booth. 1 out, bottom of the third inning. Jake Maurer did a single, pardon me. So there's a man on at first base for Jamie Athas, the left-handed batter of the Giants organization. What else can you take from the Arizona Fall League and apply to your game going into spring training next year? I mean, I don't know if they've told you. I don't know if you've received your contract for next year. But what are the Royals' expectations of you going into next season?
To be a successful leadoff batter for the organization. They want me to lead off, see a lot of pitches, take more pitches, make the pitcher work, and basically, like I said, work on my defense. To get my defense up to the other part of my game so I can have that complete game instead of like doing one thing at one time, just having a complete game and be consistent every day.
Now, as you look at everything that happens at the big league level, because the Royals are a small market team, and we talked to Byron Geddes about this also, that sometimes financial constraints dictate as to what you can bring up. So that bodes well for young players like yourself.
Yes, sir, and it makes you work harder too. Even though you might have a couple of guys that's ahead of you that working as hard as you too, you never know what'll happen in this game. It's 29 other teams that's looking at you, so it just makes you go out and work hard every day and just try to do your best.
Sure, a little number out in front of the mound as Reimers, the pitcher, is able to throw out Athas at first base. There was a wild pitch. Maurer went to second, heads to third now on the ground. Now, so 2 outs, a man on third base. Top of the order, and Nuke Logan.
James, there's different experience levels, guys. There's some that have played in the majors and AAA, and you're working your way up to the AA and AAA ranks. Are there guys that you play with or play against that you feel like you can pick up a few things from as well?
Yes, a lot of guys. Like the AAA guys, they have the experience that they have played with big leaguers. Plus, I got the chance in spring training to play with the big league team, like 2 or 3 games, and it's basically they teach you a lot of stuff. They're just like coaches to minor league guys, so you just take it all in, like little things that you may not think about at the time that'll help you. It helps a lot during the season because this year I know from playing with those guys, it helped me a lot during the season this year, because sometimes you get so frustrated within yourself. They just say relax. Just relax and play the game hard. You know what you can do, so just go out and do that.
Yeah, and I'm sure it helps, too, that Tony Pena is such a boring kind of guy. He doesn't get you pumped up for anything.
Hey, he's a good guy. I got a chance to meet him. He's a really exciting guy to play for. You know, he gets everybody going. He's a loving person, too. You know, if you can ask him anything or if you need anything, he'll definitely be there for you.
Well, James, we appreciate your time here as Logan grounds out to first with the man on at third base. Good luck to you next year, man. You got it.
Thanks.
That's James Shank, our guest here, the Kansas City Royals organization. As we've played 3 innings here from Scottsdale Stadium, Peoria leads at 1-0. You listen to AFL Action Live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Derek Dieter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
Avoid going into spring training wondering where the free agents have landed and what your team looks like heading into the 2004 season. Let MLB.com radio keep you informed with our Hot Stove Report. Mainstays Seth Everett, Billy Sample, and Jonathan Mayo bring you the most up-to-date information while they chat with general managers, scouts, and those inside. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean we stop thinking baseball. The Hot Stove Report, found only at MLB.com radio.
Hi, this is Tommy Lasorda. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my good friend, Ben Platt, for the great interviews he does on MLB.com radio.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You know, I try to interview everyone in baseball, from Hall of Famers like you to the new stars just coming on the scene, every morning on the Baseball Breakfast with Billy Sample and Jonathan Mayo, and afternoons on deck with Seth Everett and Victor Rojas.
Hey, Ben, one thing I don't get is, what's this Benny P stuff?
Tommy, it's just a radio nickname they gave me back in the station.
Benny P this, Benny P that. You weren't Benny P 10 years ago when you started out covering the Dodgers. I'm one of the few guys that knew you when you were poor. Man, I thought you were going to soil yourself every time you did an interview with me.
Man, last year he accused me of starting the Kingman interview, now this. The Benny P interviews, exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Benny P, what a joke.
Top of the 4th inning we go. Peoria leading at 1-0. Victor Ross alongside Brett Dolan. I'm going to turn it over to Brett Dolan so he can have his wonderful, wonderful play-by-play capabilities and share it with the world.
Well, thank you. I know it's been 3 days by yourself, and you're just so happy to have somebody in the booth.
I can't wait for you to take over.
Bukowski serves one into the hole, backhanded by Kelly, the shortstop. Plants and throws. Scoop by Tippy. Out at first, and what a play. Kelly, who made an error, Victor, that led to the run last inning, redeemed himself by going deep in the hole and offering a strong throw.
That was a big-time play right there. You're talking about he's a big boy, too, for a shortstop.
You start to think of those big-size guys, and obviously you talk about, A-Rod's got the height, and Ripken had the size, and I mentioned Bobby Crosby, who I think is going to be sensational with the A's, and Kelly's got a big body as well. Here's Chad Santos. He's the left-handed hitting first baseman, singled his only time in and takes a fastball inside. Again, we're in the top of the 4th inning, 1-0. Peoria in front. Henry Bonilla from the Twins organization, the pitcher. Big chopper towards the first baseman, Tippy. He will take it back unassisted to the pillow, 2 away here in the 4th inning. We have had a couple of double plays turn today. Almadera hit into one back in the 2nd inning.
Actually been some pretty good defense today.
You look at the infield, and boy, there you're going to get some tough hops. It's a bit worn and a bit brown. I know Kelly would probably like to have that air back in the 3rd because he had a big high, easy chopper, maybe in a hurry to get 2, and then bobbled it. And there's a breaking ball outside to Almadera. 2 away, base is empty in the 4th. Glad to have you along from Scottsdale Stadium today. And that fastball sails up and away and misses 2-0. Bit hazy earlier, as Victor was talking about, but sunshine peeking through. Really beautiful weather here in the Valley in October and November.
You almost feel bad for the people back in the Northeast where it's starting to be wintertime. That 50, 40-degree weather. That's a shame. Rainy, snowy.
Woke up the other day. It was about 50 in the morning. You reach for the coat. You talk about how cool it is. You forget the rest of the world would love to trade places with you.
I actually had to wear a sweater last night.
Fastball up and in, and that's ball 4. Madera walked with 2 away in the 4th.
That's the first walk issued by either team. 1 strikeout and 1 walk in this ballgame. So pretty good control by both guys, Bonilla and Reimers.
There's Terrell Goodwin, struck out back in the 3rd. And you look at some of these guys, and a lot of them possess some good individual stories. And Goodwin, probably one of the best as far as his path throughout professional baseball. He's going to hit one in the other left field. Boyd back in and makes the catch. And that ends the inning. That'll serve me right to start a story with 2 away. And Goodwin flies to left to end the inning. A walk and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th here in Scottsdale. Peoria in front 1-0. This is Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks to sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Sean Boyd leading off here in the bottom of the 4th. He is the left fielder out of the Cardinals organization. It's 1-0 Peoria. Cameron Reimers the pitcher, and he misses with a breaking ball going away. Boyd fly to center, his only time in. A couple of years ago, he had his season ended when he was struck on the left side of a face, broke a cheekbone in the nose. Well, that's one of those injuries that you just don't recover from immediately. He swings and misses. Victor, there are those injuries that affect you physically, and there are those that might have some mental implications as well, getting back in the box after something like that.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. It's always scary getting hit in that part of the body. That's why guys take offense to it so many times with guys, pitchers that is, trying to come up and in. And it is somewhat scary, and getting back into the swing of things, literally and figuratively, of course, getting back in the box and actually seeing live pitching for the first time, you're somewhat tentative, especially on inside pitches.
Boyd will send one to right center. Strong is back, and he's there waiting and puts it away, 1 away. Of course, in the major leagues, and you saw in the postseason, you saw guys that might have purpose pitches. They might have some method behind where they place the ball. In the lower minors, sometimes guys just can't throw strikes.
No.
And you're in there dodging pitches up around your coconut.
Yeah, I mean, that's the toughest part about playing in the minor leagues is you have no idea. Some of these guys have worlds of talent as far as being blessed with the ability to throw a 97, 98 mile per hour fastball, but just don't have the control to go along with it, and that's why they're in the lower levels, and it gets a little bit dangerous. That's why there's that whole adage about it's a lot easier to hit at the major league level than it is down in the minor leagues, because the major league level, at least everything is within a certain area of the strike zone as opposed to the minor leagues where you got to cover a lot of ground.
Well, no doubt about it. As Vento from the Yankees organization fouls it away, and it's 0-2. And this year, when Kurt Schilling came from your team, the Diamondbacks down to my team, Tucson, he pitched in 2 games. And pitched fairly well, but he ended up giving like 4 or 5 home runs up in the 2 starts. And I know he thought the same thing. The 0-2 pitch swung in and out of the glove, fouled off Hankins' mitt, and he stays alive to Spinto. He would be putting pitches in locations that he felt like hitters aren't going to swing at. Maybe 0-2, 1-2, they might lay off it. He maybe might get a borderline strike, and guys are swinging, protecting, they're jumping out of their shoes, they're hitting home runs, and he's not used to that at the Major League level.
You're exactly right. That's what scouting reports are all about.
That pitch is upstairs from Reimers, 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0. The Javelinas in front of the Rafters. Linden, the cleanup hitter, to follow. Reimers from the Toronto organization. Big, tall right-hander delivers in a gentle foul ball, first base side. Santos to the screen of the dugout, looking for room, and it's right on in.
This Reimers kid looks like he's got some pretty legit stuff. Good fastball. He works it on both sides of the plate. Good, hard breaking ball that he'll take something off of just to get it over. He's got good mechanics, too.
He does. Out of the Junior College of Southern Idaho. He mentioned a Missoula, Montana native. All arms and legs as he goes into that windup. The 1-2 fastball, big bounce into the third baseman, and it is in foul territory. Lamadera went over to collect it, but across the chalk, and the count remains 1-2.
Pretty compact as far as his delivery is concerned, and pretty much straight over the top. Hides the ball well, and all of a sudden sneaks up on you.
Goes into the glove for the baseball, but another 1 ball, 2 strike pitch, a curve that's ripped foul near the dugout, third base side, and we'll do it again. Wind's blowing straight out towards the berm in left center, and Victor mentioned it is 430 feet away, so if you're coming down to Arizona, even though the ball carries better, and sometimes those breaking balls don't work as well, even with the winds blowing out, you can afford to catch a little more of that plate from time to time, knowing that the ballpark may hold it. 1-2 curve served on the ground of the shortstop Adams on 1 bounce. Kind of a funny hop, but he stays with it and flips to Santos for the second out of the inning.
And it's funny, too, in a sense that this is the spring training home of the San Francisco Giants, and everyone knows now that Pac Bell Park, since been renamed since the end of the season, is a completely different ballpark. Obviously, dead center field is the deepest part there, and then you have the right field nook and crannies at Pac Bell because of McCovey Cove. So it's ironic that they're playing in such a spacious ballpark. Granted, Candlestick Park was somewhat similar to this, the football, baseball stadium, but they have not made any changes whatsoever to the makeup of this stadium at all.
Here's Todd Linden, who played up in Pac-Bell, that's now SBC in September, and he swings and misses. Now, I think it's like $3.99 to straightaway center in San Francisco, where it's $4.30 here, and you mentioned the dimensions. Boy, you hit a ball to right center in Pac-Bell at night for a home run. You have really torched it.
Right.
You have hit it hard, and the 0-1 is inside to Linden, a breaking ball that spun him around. Linden actually had his first big league home run in September. Probably thought he might be able to sit around and watch a little more action into the postseason, but the Marlins, they were the first team to pull the big upset in the postseason and knock out the Giants. First of many upsets, I guess, on their way to the World Championship. The 1-1, and Linden had that come around his foot. Did it hit him? I think it did, off his black shoe, and he's on with 2 away. We're going to hear from one of Linden's teammates a little bit later on. Lance Necro will be joining us. A couple of good young players at the AAA and soon-to-be Major League level for San Francisco.
Well, they had a couple of those guys come up, too, as far as pitchers are concerned.
Well, they had Jerome Williams.
Right.
Ainsworth before that, and Jesse Foppert another. Now it's the position players maybe over the next year.
Well, especially as you look at the big league club and how they're talking about reducing payroll. They've already cut loose a lot of the veteran guys and that declining options, J.T. Snow and Jose Cruz, Eric Young. That's just the tip of the iceberg, I'm assuming, and I'm sure Benito Santiago won't be back.
Terry Tiffey, the batter, singled his only time in, Minnesota Twin farmhand, 1 ball, no strikes. And that pitch is off speed and low, 2-0. Yeah, they're going to have a different look to that team, one way, shape, or form, with all those guys that probably won't be back.
I'm curious to see if Felipe Alou decides to change up his coaching staff at all. He was able to bring Pujols with him, but the ball club decided to keep Dave Rigetti is the pitching coach. Mark Gardner is the bullpen coach. And more times than not, the manager, especially when they sign a long-term deal, are given free reins as far as bringing in their own coaching staff. So we'll have to wait and see. But then you look at the situation in the White Sox and Baltimore, both of which have decided to keep the majority of the coaching staff, yet are both looking for field managers who will have to inherit those guys.
Pitches outside to Tiffy, ball 4, and a couple of guys on in the 4th. You're seeing that maybe a little more and more. Even here in Phoenix, Bob Brenly's going to have a couple of new coaches on his staff. And not sure if those are his choices. The organization wanted to promote some guys from the minors, but some of the guys that were with him will no longer be there, and he's going to get some guys that he hasn't really worked with on a direct basis next season.
Yeah, I mean, Rick Shue, the hitting coach, is a guy who's the roving minor league instructor on the hitting side for the last couple of seasons. He's a former California Angels infielder. He's done a terrific job, and I guess the fact of the matter remains that Diamondbacks are going to continue to bring up young players throughout their minor league system. And since Rick Shue knows these guys, Al Padrique, who's been named the new third base coach, is former skipper of the Tucson Sidewinders the last couple of seasons, has done a terrific job. He knows a lot of these guys as well. And, who knows? People say that Padrique is a guy that could be a potential manager down the road, whether it be with the Diamondbacks or another major league organization. So, there are some changes being made, and a lot of teams, especially the Diamondbacks, have stayed pretty much, have run the course with the same guys for the better part of the six years in their existence. So they decided to make a change because of everything that happened last year.
2 on, 2 out. The catcher, Michael Hernandez from the Yankees, takes ball 2 up and in.
All of a sudden, Reimers has just lost his control.
Well, he really misfired on that first pitch to Hernandez up under his chin, and that'll prompt a visit from the pitching coach as well from the Expos, Mark Rader. Works under manager Frank White. Ken Landreau, another familiar name of the Blue Jays organization, completes this coaching staff here in Peoria. Well, Hernandez, somebody that he's kind of anxious to see what happens with John Flaherty. Will he be back? Will Hernandez have a chance to be the backup to a very young catcher in Jorge Posada, 31 years old at the big league level? Certainly, I think a lot of people feel like Hernandez has the defensive tools to play in the majors, and didn't hurt his cause by having a career-high batting average this year in AAA. But one of the Cuban defectors, he came over, defected to Mexico in 1996. That fastball's low, and it went through the legs of Hankins, maybe even a pass ball. Then both runners move up, Linden to third and Tippy to second.
That should be a pass ball. That's just getting a little bit lazy right there with the pitch. Allowed that ball go between the wickets all the way to the backstop. And all of a sudden, Grand Canyon just a base hit away of taking the lead here as they're trailing at 1-0.
Only run came at the top of the third. The Javelinas scored. Strong reached on an air, but got an RBI. Hit batter, a walk, a pass ball, 2 men in scoring position. The 3-0 pitch, low, ball 4. And now the bases are loaded without a hit. And maybe one thing you don't see, Victor, in this league, at least that of the starters, sometimes guys get tired in the 6th, 7th innings, and that's when things start to get away from them. And usually don't see guys go that deep in the fall league. So, you have to test them earlier, kind of evaluate how they're going to do in the 3rd, 4th, 5th innings sometimes.
Yeah, Reimers, a guy who made 26 starts at Double-A New Haven, 164 innings of work. He's only worked 10 innings down here in the fall league. It's just a matter of a release point. He was cruising along until he hit Linden with that big curveball and just kind of lost his control a little bit.
Donald Kelly, a left-handed batter, fly to center his only time in. He is down in the count, 0-1. He was with Lakeland and Erie this year in the Tigers system, and that pitch is up around the D, that old D on his jersey, chest high, 1-1. With Jake Maurer, the brother of Joe Maurer, waiting on deck. And the base is full of Rafters. Linden again at third, Tippy at second, Hernandez at first, 1 ball, 1 strike, and Reimers needs another. The wind and the pitch, and that's inside and high again, 2-1. Grand Canyon, their bench coach Ron Warner from the Cardinals, he coaches at third. Willie Randolph is the skipper on this team. The 2-1 pitch at the bell, called a strike, 2-2. And Randolph had some other pressing concerns to take care of over the last few weeks before the fold-in, just finishing out the World Series. You want to talk about coaching staff and changes, Randolph probably a good one to talk to about that.
No question.
2 balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded, ripped to right, that's a base hit. Linden's going to score, Tippy's going to round third. DeJesus has a good arm, the throw's on the money. Out at the plate is Tippy. Hankins held on, a perfect one-hop strike from DeJesus, and that cuts down the go-ahead run. So a base hit by Kelly, an RBI, and this game is tied through 4, but the final out of the inning occurs at the plate. We go to the 5th in Scottsdale, a 1-1 game, and this is Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in to score, and Cepeda pulling to second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-Hall of Fame.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Shows. Get updates on Winter League and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number 1 baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com radio.
With Victor Rojas, I'm Brett Dolan here in Arizona Fall League action, Scottsdale, Arizona. A 1-1 game as we go to the 5th. David DeJesus, a strong strike to the plate, erasing Terry Tippy to cut down that go-ahead run and end the last of the 4th. Here's Russ Adams leading off the 5th. He has scored the only Peoria run, takes a big curve for a strike from Bonilla. Adams from the Blue Jays, single back in the 3rd. He's a former North Carolina Tar Heel. Swings and misses at that one, and the count is 0-2. A couple of years ago, he went to the Cape Cod League, and they really couldn't even find a team for him. Carolina normally fed a certain team in the Cape Cod League. There's a curve that's low, and Adams really wasn't wanted on that team. What does he do? He goes to another team in the Cape Cod League and comes out as the number 1 prospect. Now, that is an honor that has been bestowed upon guys like Mark Mulder, Mark Teixeira recently in the last few years. There's a rip to right, a base hit. Adams singles between Ethis and Tippy to right, his second hit of the game, leading off the 5th. Came out of high school in North Carolina, 14th overall pick a couple of years ago, nearly a $2 million signing bonus. And we saw him make a very good defensive play to end the bottom of the 1st inning, a couple of hits as well. And that'll bring up Aaron Miles, who also has 2 hits. Left-handed batter, diminutive hitter out of the White Sox system, and Adams will draw a throw.
Yeah, Bonilla might be getting close to his pitch count. Action in the bullpen for Grand Canyon. Another Twins farmhand, Patrick Neshek.
Miles will bunt, pushes it foul up that 3rd base line, and picked up by Hernandez. 1 ball and a strike. You talked about some of the buzzwords around baseball in certain terms, and you also start to see guys compared to different players. And a couple of years ago, it was a David Eckstein type, and you hear that reference a lot with Miles. Not a big guy, one of those scrappers. He can play short or second or some different positions. Miles played most of his season in AAA Charlotte, and a toss will go to first, and Adams goes back in standing. Roberto Alomar, he took over that second base position, of course, down the stretch for Chicago. Kind of solidified that. Pitch out. Adams wasn't going, and Hernandez throws back behind him at first, but not in time. Frank White, a guy that you grew up watching, I grew up watching, coaching over at third through a series of sides. You know, I can't think of Frank White without kind of hearkening back and remembering him picking up balls on the turf and flipping with his glove to first.
Yep.
Miles will send one to right center field. Will Logan get there? He will track it down with a running grab in the alley. Might have a chance for a double play. His throw is errant back to first, and Adams returns. And boy, Logan covered a lot of ground and took a third hit of the afternoon away from Aaron Miles.
Yeah, and Adams slipped near the bag at second base, so Logan did have a shot, but that throw back to the infield up that first base line, if it's on the bag at all, it's a double play.
One away. Here's Strong. He drove in a run by reaching on an error in the third. Also with a sacrifice bunt today. Strong came up to AAA after I got done seeing the Tacoma team last year, so I didn't have a chance to see him as he takes one low and away. Last year in spring training, he had shoulder surgery, tore his non-throwing labrum, and he did so diving into a bag at third in spring training. He'll tell you, I'm not going to dive head first anymore. I'm going to take the regular route, if you will. I'm not going to risk ripping that shoulder up again.
It's amazing how many guys do that, especially over like at first base, or even at home plate for that matter. Guys diving in head first.
1-0 breaking ball, kind of a hanger, but it comes in for a strike above the knees to Strong. Now, Tiffy was thrown out at the plate to end last inning. He took an interesting route. He stopped, and then, well, maybe I'm going to roll over the catcher Hankins.
He wasn't sure what he wanted to do there. Great. Not much you can do when you know you're hosed out by about 10 steps.
1-1 pitch. Foul ball at the plate off the bat of Jamal Strong, and the count is 1-2. Again, we're in the top of the fifth. The Peoria Javelinas and the Grand Canyon Rafters tied at 1. DeJesus had made the fantastic throw. He's on deck. He'll bat, barring a double play here in the top of the fifth inning. Henry Bonilla from the Twin system still in the game. He's ready on the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, fouled back out of play to the right and towards the parking lot. Fans down below us, but they don't make much noise here in Scottsdale.
Very laid back.
It is a different element. You can hear the ball bouncing on the roof from time to time above us. Another toss to first, and Adams hurries back and standing. Guys wear the uniforms from their Major League organization and then the hats of their Fall League team. Pitch is a fastball over button low, 2-2. Frank still looks like he could play a little bit. I don't know if he could take in, you couldn't put him in the lineup 5 times a week, but you could run him out there a couple of times.
Sure. Why not? I mean, you always take a shot at a guy like that. He can go out and get it. Terrific range. Not only that, pretty good bat, too.
Yes, he was. Adams runs, breaking ball low and away. Hernandez fires a strike down to second. Safe. Eighth is trying to reach for the tag behind him, trying to get Adams, but Adams with the stolen base, and he's in scoring position with 1 gone.
Hernandez did exactly what he's supposed to do. Go ahead and throw the ball right at the bag, regardless if a second baseman or shortstop is going to be covering. And in this instance, it was Athos, the second baseman, a little bit tardy getting there, and just couldn't get his footwork in place. I'll be curious to see if had he been there, if that throw would have gotten him.
3-2 runs inside. Did it hit the hand of Strong? It did. Hit batter. Well, it didn't get much of Strong because it still ended up in the glove of Hernandez, but enough. Now there's a couple of guys on for David DeJesus. 0 for 2 today, a .340 hitter in the Fall League. And you mentioned Frank White earlier, one of those guys who came out of the old academy that the Royals had.
The first. He's the first guy to come out of that academy.
And, you know, he's probably going to manage and be around some guys in the system that were the high draft picks who maybe were evaluated or chosen on potential. A little bit different than when he was coming up. And one of the guys I know the Royals are high on is this guy, DeJesus. Brief cup of coffee last year with the Royals. He grounds one to the right side. Miles is there to field, or Athos, I should say. Fires to second for an out, and that's all they will get. 2 away. DeJesus will reach on the fielder's choice. Kelly did not want to risk a throw back to first, and Strong was retired 4-6. 2 away for Hankins. But, DeJesus came up to Kansas City last year. They put his locker, and, there's always strategy involved in everything, right between Carlos Beltran and Mike Sweeney. Now, you want to have a couple of guys to kind of talk with and kind of get the lay of the clubhouse. Those are probably 2 guys to start with tonight, that organization, that clubhouse.
Oh, whenever they talk about David DeJesus, at least the organization, they talk about him in high regard, and that is because they feel like he is the heir apparent to Carlos Beltran, whether it's going into next year or going into 05. Regardless of that situation, they feel that DeJesus has done everything possible at the minor league level and shown the potential to be a guy that could just take over and really not skip a beat. I mean, this guy has got some pretty good pop. He can hit for average. He can run. He's got 5 stolen bases down here. And as we saw last half inning playing right field, he's got a pretty good throwing arm and very accurate.
Yes, he does, and he's going to draw a throw. He might have been leaning just a bit. Gets back and standing at first under the tag of Tiffy. Hankins from the White Sox system. His line is short and fly to center, and he's up with runners at the corners, 2 away in the 5th, and a game tied at 1. Hankins a .346 hitter, grounds 1 to third. Maurer has it, goes the easy route to second. Eighth is there to take the throw, and that will force DeJesus, and that ends the 5th inning. Peoria, a couple of base runners, 1 hit, 2 men left. We're halfway done on this Thursday afternoon. Peoria and Grand Canyon tied at 1. This is Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mike, and I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat and pitch it through and high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive base hit, and then I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Bill Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhallofame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. It kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game, MLB.com radio.
We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Scottsdale Stadium, again with Victor Rojas. I'm Brett Oldham. We are delighted to have you with us today, wherever you may be listening. We're enjoying the sunshine, a pretty good contest between Peoria and Grand Canyon. And here's Jake Maurer to lead things off, the Twins organization, a familiar-sounding name. He's the brother of Joe Maurer, who was taken 1 slot ahead of Mark Pryor a couple of years ago in the free agent draft. Maurer singled his only time in and takes 1 low from Cameron Reimers. Jake, like his brother Joe, obviously from the Twin Cities area, same high school in the Twin Cities that produced Paul Molitor. The 1-0 is a little bit low from Reimers in the count 2-0. I know a few years ago there was talk, will the Twins be around? Will there even be a Minnesota Twins by the time that maybe the Maurer brothers and other young farmhands are ready to move on to the major leagues? That pitch is in for a strike of the 8th. Fortunately, we're not talking about that anymore. The Twins, though, it's a long season, off season for them. You win that first game against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. You feel like, wow, this might be the year we knock them off. Ground ball to third. It'll skip by Lambadera into left field. That's a base hit. Maurer chopped one into left, retrieved by Goodwin. A single lead off the 5th inning. The Yankees win 3 straight games. You're done. The season's over.
Yeah, I mean, I had picked the Twins and the Florida Marlins going into the postseason just because I felt that they were the 2 hottest teams rolling into the postseason, and you like the chances of those types of situations. And like you said, they won that first game at Yankee Stadium. I don't know how much Ron Gardenhire will complain about the seventh inning stretch at Yankee Stadium, having an effect, of course, on Brad Radke, but who knows? It's one of those things that you take it with a grain of salt. But Yankees, I think, just finally said, you know what, enough is enough. They turned it up a notch. I think everyone is in agreement that the New York Yankees were not the New York Yankees of years past. I mean, they've certainly had some holes in that lineup, especially in right field, and their bullpen was just atrocious. And I don't know about atrocious as far as numbers are concerned, but atrocious enough in which Joe Torre didn't feel comfortable to go and bridge the gap between whoever the starter was to Mariano Rivera. So that's why Mo was throwing 2 innings every time and trying to pick up a save.
Jimmy eighth is the batter, and a flip to first, and Maurer goes back and standing. You know, I'll never take anything away from the Marlins because they, like the Angels last year, were probably the hottest team and the best overall team. And, you know, you look at Beckett, and there's no doubt this kid's going to be a stud if he isn't already. Runner goes, hit and run, chopper towards Miles. He slips on the grass, finds the baseball late, and his toss to first is also late, and Athos is going to reach. Miles kind of smothered that ball on the ground and then never did get a good clean handle on it. Let's see if that is an error on Miles, regardless of how the guy's on.
I think they've called it a big hit. Miles, tough play, trying to play that short hop and trying to get in front of the runner. So as to not cause interference right there. There's not much he could do. And got a sacrifice situation coming up, but we'll see if they'll use the old hit-and-run situation as well.
Well, Logan, one of the fastest guys in this fall league. Before this last season, he had almost 150 minor league stolen bases. So even if he's bunting, there's no guarantee that you're going to get him at first. Lampadera way in on the grass at third, and the bunt is shown by Logan, and he pulls the bat back. To finish my thought, though, on the Marlins, you know, you look at their rotation, and after Beckett, you know, Redmond struggled at times, and Penny had a couple of good starts, and others that weren't. And their bullpen, you get used to the dominance of a Rivera. Now, Urbina and Looper each had times where they were shaky. They got some saves on some games where they gave up a couple of runs, or one guy struggled and the other one had to come on. And you know, if you think about a team winning without a dominant rotation or a dominant closer, that's another feather in their cap that they could find a way to win a series.
No question. That's why they were able to do it.
Logan missed that bunt. That's a strike.
As ugly as it was, and however many errors Jack McKeon may have lost in those late inning situations, they always seemed to find a way, whether it was Urbina or Looper, and you saw the transition in the postseason. That he didn't go with just one guy. He was just going out there with the guy he felt he can close the game out that day.
One more week of the postseason, and those guys might have run out of gas. Like that tank was getting on E down the stretch, and they had another series to play. I don't know if Urbina or Looper would have been able to get those outs, but they did what they had to do. You get so used in the postseason, though, to seeing Rivera come in, and when he comes in, boy, that game is probably over.
Oh, more times than not it is. I mean, that's how legit he is. Probably the best closer in the history of the postseason.
Logan wants to bunt again. He pops it up foul off the screen, and that's a strike. And for the Marlins, you know, you bring in Looper and Urbina, and you start crossing your fingers and you say, is Looper on today? And will that change-up be spotted in the right location for Urbina? They found a way to get it done. And, you know, you would have told me a couple of years ago that, you know, you're looking into the crystal ball, the next 2 World Series winners will be the Anaheim Angels and the Florida Marlins. I would have thought you were absolutely crazy.
You and everybody else. There's no way anybody would have guessed those 2 teams. Not considering the way payrolls are structured, and everyone likes to make a big deal out of the top 5 payrolls in baseball, and those are the teams that more times than not are competing in the postseason. But it seems like it's old hat now that it's those teams that are financially responsible and have a good nucleus of young players that have been brought up through the minor league system and plugged their holes in. And you know, the same argument can be made for the Oakland Athletics. There's a team that obviously has payroll parameters structured year in and year out. The unorthodox or the orthodox method of doing things, however you want to look at it, with Billy Beane and the way they look at numbers and players. But for whatever reason, they've just not had enough to push them over the edge. And that to me is, you know, everyone talks about Billy Beane being this genius of a general manager. Yeah, it's great. He can manufacture a ball club based on those parameters, but until you win something, you're basically just another general manager, just like a manager. Until Dusty Baker finally wins one and gets out of, maybe if he moves from 5 outs away to 4 outs away, maybe he'll get more credit. But I mean, Until he wins one, he's still just another manager.
Logan launches one to right. DeJesus racing back, and he made the basket catch on the warning track. He's going to spin and fire it into Miles for the first out of the inning, as Maurer tagged and went to third. DeJesus went deep to right center field, reached and made that grab.
That was unbelievable. I mean, that's one of the best defensive plays we've seen in the Arizona Fall League, and I saw Lau last year and the first week this week. I tell you what, that ball was just about ready to hit the base of the wall. DeJesus had a long way to go. That ball bolted by Logan into right center field, and it shows you the heads-up play by Maurer at second base tagging up, whereas Athos was already at the bag at second, had to retreat to first.
He's a right-hander instead of a left-hander. He may not make that catch. Sean Boyd, runners at the corners, and Boyd, the right-handed batter, takes one low. You know, and for the A's, certainly, as they look at their season, because of the parameters you mentioned, they have to reconfigure that team every year. You aren't keeping the same guys for 2 or 3, 4 years. A couple of years ago, Giambi left. This year, Tejada probably on his way out of town. One of the Boyd at the belt, a high strike from Cameron Reimers, and the count is a ball and a strike. And, you know, it's going to be awfully tough when you look at an offseason as far as the number of guys that were that close to winning a series. I mean, you were 1 win away a couple of years ago. You had 3 straight games where you were a win away this year.
Chavez next year is probably going to be a free agent.
Pitch is a little bit low. Toss to first. Close and safe as Athos was in back under the tag of Santos.
That throw high, if it's down low towards the bag, I think they have a shot at getting Athos.
So runners again are at the corners, 1 away. Boyd has a count of 2-1. And we are in a 1-1 game in the bottom of the 5th inning. Reimers sit at the belt, a long pause. And finally delivers. That ball laced to left in for a base hit. Maurer can come home and score the go-ahead run. 2-1 Grand Canyon as Boyd puts the Rafters ahead.
It sounds as if a lot of these guys for Grand Canyon starting to time Reimers just right, and that's going to be it for Reimers as Frank White makes his way out to the mound. He's a guy that was pitching fairly well. Struggled a little bit in that 4th inning as far as his control after getting the first 2 outs, but given up 3 base hits here in the 5th inning, so he's somewhat hit that proverbial wall.
So we'll take a break as well. We'll come back to tell you the new pitcher and his numbers. Again, we are in the bottom of the 5th inning. A run home, 1 out, and a couple of guys on base. Grand Canyon in front, 2-1. This is Arizona Fall League action, live on MLB.com radio.
Right now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful major league career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888 Hall of Fame.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot shot to 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stearns. And Stearns can cut off mascot. Now that's
teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund, a partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, Visit BaseballTomorrowFund.com.
Javelinas' new pitcher out of the Royals organization, right-hander Zach McClellan. Couple of guys on, one away, and Michael Vento takes one outside. And Victor, these are good numbers for McClellan. 1-0, 7 appearances, a 2.40 ERA, 15 innings, just 4 earned runs, 11 strikeouts.
Nice.
He's a Hoosier. Indiana University last year with Wilmington in the Carolina League. And the pitch to Vento, fastball low, 2-0. Vento twice has grounded out to the shortstop Adams. If he hits it in that direction again, maybe a chance for a double play to get out of this inning. Rafters have their first lead of the game, 2-1. They have out hit the Javelinas 6-5. Cleanup hitter Linden on deck, 2-0 pitch. That ball drilled to right field. We'll see if DeJesus can go get it. Back on the track, reaching, making the catch again. Eighth is back to second, and returning to first is Boyd. And 2 good plays by DeJesus. That he was able to get back and wait for the baseball, but he had to get a good jump on that one.
Well, not only that, I think if he takes a peek over towards first base, he would have seen that Boyd was around the bag at second base. And if he'd thrown behind him at first, he probably had a double play again.
He did. So 2 away, and here's Linden. Hit by a pitcher in the fourth and scored the tying run. He scored on a single by Kelly. Big, strong guy. Batting from the left side is Linden. McClellan ready, and here's the pitch. That's up around the letters, up around the Giants on the jersey for Linden for ball 1. A couple of years ago, this guy was getting ready to go back to classes in the fall at LSU. He kind of at an impasse with the Giants. They finally found a way to sign him right during that time when they were in danger of losing him. And they're glad to have him in this organization. He's progressed quickly. That pitch low and away, and it's 2-0. 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Linden went into last year as the number 5 prospect in the Giant system, and that's with Foppert, Ainsworth, and Williams 1, 2, and 3. 2-0 pitch over but low. A fastball from Zach McClellan again, and misfires, and the count is 3-0. Terry Tippy waits on deck. Sean Boyd's RBI single this inning drove in Jake Maurer. Rafters have a 2-1 lead. 3-0 pitch, fastball strike at the knees over the outer half. Grand Canyon again, 10-12. Peoria coming in 5-17.
Looks like the wind has shifted a little bit towards dead center field.
Well, that flag on the top of the pole near the scoreboard to the left of the batter's eye, better hold on because it is moving straight out. Linden hits it off the end of the bat to left, and Godwin retreating. The wind's pushing it a bit, but Godwin back shy the track with the glasses on. He'll make the catch. And that does end the 5th. An inning that's on the Rafters get a run and take the lead. 1 run, 3 hits, couple of guys left. 5 innings complete in Scottsdale today. Grand Canyon 2 and Peoria 1. This is Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
This is Andy Pettit of the New York Yankees. It's never easy to stand your ground when facing the best hitters in the game, but with practice, you gain confidence. To teach values that go beyond the diamond, Major League Baseball charities and Boys and Girls Clubs of America have teamed up to bring baseball and softball to kids around the world. Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, boys and girls learn about teamwork, fair play, and respect. Because when kids believe in themselves, amazing things can happen.
Get the perfect gift for the baseball fan in your life at MLB Shop on MLB.com. You can purchase jackets, jerseys, caps, and clothes for men, women, and children. Get a snappy new batting practice jersey or a classic replica jersey of your favorite team. You can even customize your jersey. Best of all, it can all be done online. Plus, the MLB Shop has baseball cards, bobblehead dolls, books, videos, and so much more. All purchases are private and secure, and the MLB Shop accepts all major credit cards. Click on the MLB Shop button at the top right of MLB.com and get that perfect gift today.
Raven, we've got bandits at 1 o'clock.
Fights on.
Engaging now.
What kind of person can handle an F-16 dueling in a Mach-speed dogfight? Why, a math teacher, of course, when she's in the National Guard and Reserve. Nearly half of today's military are members of the Guard and Reserve, but they can't do it without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit www.esgr.org and learn how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours. A public service message from ESGR and the Ad Council.
New pitcher with a very unusual delivery. I'll let Victor tell you how best to describe the motion of Patrick Neshek from the Twins organization. A Minnesota native as well, was with Fort Myers this last year. On the season here in the Fall League, Neshek has made 8 appearances, 10 innings, 13 hits, and 8 runs. He's going to face Bukowski, Santos, and Lambadera here in the top of the 6th inning for the Javelinas. And the first pitch over but low from Neshek.
Well, he's out of Wisconsin originally and now makes his home in Minnesota. Does Neshek, 6th round pick back in 2002. And it's a quick, short arm, side armor, about the belt level is where he delivers his pitches from. Looks like he's got a pretty good little fastball, though.
If you remember a guy by the name of Craig House with the Rockies, he had a delivery similar to Neshek, the wind in the pitch, and that floats in for a strike, where it almost looks like you were jumping off the plate or off that mound towards the plate. Neshek starts with his glove straight out in front of him, brings it back to his glove, nods yes, kicks his front foot, then delivered one that hit the arm of Bukowski. I mean, he's got that leg moving and kicking and the glove darting. That time he drilled Bukowski to lead off the 6th inning. Chad Santos 1 for 2 and a single this afternoon for the Javelinas.
It's the third hit batter we've had in this game, 2 by Grand Canyon and 1 by Peoria.
Now, if you remember Chad Bradford of the A's, his hand almost hits the dirt, almost scrapes the mound on his way by. That left foot of Neshek nearly touches a couple of different times, kind of hovers above the ground, and then he delivers outside, ball 1. There's so much to watch with the arms and the hands and the legs. Neshek gives you a very different look. Santos waiting. Here's the pitch, and again that kind of floated in, but it caught the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. Bonilla went 5 innings today and gave up the run, even though it scored on an error. It was earned. Santos waiting, the 1-1, low and away, that misfired, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, Neshek has been effective, at least in the minor leagues, just 2 years, signing in 2002. 32 saves in that time, including 17 this year between Quad Cities, Fort Myers, both A-level, and then Double-A New Britain.
Tossed to first, and back in standing goes Bukowski. You know, we talked about all the guys that could be on their way to different teams in the major leagues, and well, the Twins have 2 of them in that bullpen alone with Guadardo and Hawkins, and who knows where those guys will end up. Who knows what that bullpen will look like for Minnesota. Neshek misses with ball 3, low and away. And there are parameters as well from the salary standpoint with Minnesota. They always look at kids up from their farm system. They have done a good job bringing players up over the last 3-4 years. 3-1 pitch, up and away, ball 4. A couple of guys on here in the 6th inning.
That's the last thing you want to do, coming in and relief, especially of his teammate, Henry Bonilla, who did a nice job, 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, struck out 1, walked 1, allowed just that 1 run. But to come in here in the 6th inning, hit a batter, then walk Santos, put you in a precarious position, and seeing as how your ball club is leading by a run here in the 6th.
John Lambadera, the batter from the Explo system, he has hit him to a double play, and he has walked. Mauer in on that grass, that dark grass at third, as is Tippy at first, guarding against the bunt. Lambadera gets one down in the batter's box for a strike, a foul ball, 0-1. Goodwin on deck. He's batting in the number 8 position, then Adams in the number 9 hole. Peoria scored first. They had a single run in the 3rd, single tallies by the Rafters in the 4th and the 5th innings, and they lead 2-1. A couple of guys on without the benefit of a hit here in the 6th. Corners charge. Lambadera was not bunting. Swings away. Pops it up. Foul territory. First base side. Apis, the Giant, running at foul ground. Makes the catch on the warning track. He had to contend with the first base umpire, Darren Williams, and his first baseman, Tiffy, and he made a running grab.
That's just a great heads-up play by Athas, holding his ground from a sacrifice situation to a hit-and-run type of situation, and able to track that ball down. The first baseman, Tiffy, was playing in a little bit, so it would have been a much more difficult play for him to make.
And here's Goodwin. We talked about him earlier. He made a quick out in that fourth inning. Here's a guy who was a first-round pick out of high school by the Yankees and did not sign. Pitch is on the way to the left-handed batter, and that's high. Then he was selected by the Rangers in the first round in 2000. He never signed. There was an exam that revealed a pre-existing knee injury. Returned to North Carolina, where he was also a football player. He did not play his senior season, just got healthy and was finally able to be drafted, and he has had injury problems since going into the pro ranks. And finally trying to put it together. He's had things such as hamstrings and shoulders and broken hands. Maybe using this fall league to provide some extra games against some good competition. He's up with a couple of guys on. He turns on a pitch and skies it high in the air, deep right field, soaring back to the wall. That is way out of here and gone. And Goodwin just hammered a 3-run homer. His first of the fall league, and it is 4-2 Peoria. As we were talking about, as far as coming in and throwing strikes, getting ahead of batters. And Neshek struggled, hitting Bukowski. Then the walk to Santos, got lucky on the pop-out by Lambandera, but they made a mistake here to Goodwin. That ball was crushed, and we talked about the wind blowing out, but it didn't really matter whether the wind was blowing in or out of that ball. There's a bullpen behind the fence and right where it's 340, and it landed way behind the pin. Russ Adams, who has 2 hits today, has scored a run. He looks at one upstairs, ball one. So Goodwin got into one. It doesn't matter if it's a developmental league or not. When you hit a guy and walk a guy and give up a 3-run homer, that hurts. 1-0 is chopped foul, wide at first. Aaron Miles waits on deck. 4-2 Peoria. We are in the top of the 6th inning. Neshek, this is his first inning of relief. A couple of Twins have pitched today. The 1-1 is at the knees for a strike to Adams, and the count 1-2. Adams came in batting .213 here in the fall league. 2 hits. He swiped a bag, scored a run. Made a good defensive play this afternoon. That one came down and in from Neshek. It misfired 2-2. Neshek again holds that glove straight out in front of him as he goes into that herky-jerky windup, and then the pitch is fouled down the left field line by Adams into the stands and out of play. Baseball for Neshek into that wind-up again, with that front foot just hovers over the ground, and he delivers outside, a bit high to Adams, 3-2. And Miles, who has a couple of hits, he's on deck. Before this inning, Adams and Miles had combined for 4 of the 5 hits. Apple stroked to right, hit well. Linden back, he's underneath it, and makes the catch. And there's 2 away. Negro will join us next half inning. He'll tell you that at Grizzlies Stadium, the ball to right field, that ball would probably be behind the wall the way it carries and blows out towards right field. He's a right-handed hitter. We'll talk to him about his power, but you don't get many homers to left in Fresno, but you hit him to right, and that ball gets up in the wind, and it's bouncing in 40 feet behind the wall. You salivate when you go there, so you can take batting practice, don't you? Miles will club one to left. Boyd is over. Into the alley, he's there. He'll make the catch, and that ends the inning. 3-run score on 1 hit, although it was a long one, a homer by Goodwin. We head to the bottom of the 6th in Scottsdale. It is 4-2 Peoria, and this is Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in the score, and Cepeda pulling the second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-Hall-of-Fame.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Show. Get updates on Winter League and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number one baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com radio.
We go to the bottom of the sixth inning here in Scottsdale. It is 4-2, Peoria in front. Terry Tippy is the batter. He looks at a strike. Lance Negro, out of the Giants organization, has joined Victor and I. And Victor, doing the games with the Sidewinders this year, we see Fresno 16 times. Now, Lance had a good season, but I'm telling you, this kid had a fourth of his hits this year all year against Tucson. I mean, this guy was getting 2-3 hits a night. There's a ball stroked into center field. Here comes Strong. He'll make the catch for the first out. So I saw all I needed to see of you this year. I mean, you were tough on the Tucson team.
Yeah, you know, I got lucky and got hot when we were playing them. The last series there, I didn't do too well. Would like to get a couple more hits, maybe get in the top 10 leaders in average. But, you know, I just saw the ball well off of them and managed to get a few hits.
Now, what's it like for you? I mean, there's a lot of guys down here, dumb and young, and Stacy's probably tired of me asking the same question, but you come from a long line of baseball as far as your family's concerned. Two pitchers, of course, your dad, Joe Negro, and, of course, your uncle, Phil, Hall of Famer. But being a position player, any aspects at all as far as you pitching at any point in your career?
I don't think that's going to happen. I pitched in high school a little bit, and then my senior year, we sat down and decided if I had a future, it was going to be, you know, hitting and playing defense and just playing every day. And, you know, I'm happy with that decision. I was a pretty good high school pitcher, but I think I get hit pretty hard at this level.
And you can throw the knuckleball.
I've got it, just in case.
All right. Do you have an Emory board in your back pocket? I just wanted to know.
No, I don't carry one of those around with me.
All right, let's just make it sure. Hey, one of the things that happened this offseason is the San Francisco Giants declined the option on J.T. Snow. There's a position over there at first base. You're a third baseman by trade. You've taken some ground balls or played some first base as well. And you were talking before at the break that you're pretty much going to be at first base. Does that make you feel good knowing that going into spring training there's an opportunity for you to take over first base?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it'd be great to get that starting job or even the backup job. Just to be in the majors would be great. And I got about 100 games under my belt at first through AA and AAA the last 2 years. So, you know, I just got to work hard and finish out strong here in the fall league and work hard this off season and just go in and have a good spring and see what happens.
You're having a lot of fun here. We're just 3 up and 3 down, so an easy inning, of course, for the Royals right-hander Zach McClellan. So we're going to stay right here, skip the break, because it's so nice to have Lance Negro in the booth and finally kind of wake us up a little bit. But as far as the AFL is concerned, first experience here for you. I mean, the talent here, compared to last year, I think the talent's taken a step backwards. I don't know if Team USA has a role in that at all, but the pitching is not quite what we're used to seeing here for the first 12 or 11 years of this league. Does that make you guys feel any different as far as a hitter's perspective on things?
You know, not really. I mean, I played here last year, so I got to experience this league as my first year was being last year, and you know, I do think that there's a lot more talent. I mean, there's still a lot of talent here now, but I do think USA took a handful of guys that would have been here. But you still got to go out and do your job, and you're still facing guys that are AA, AAA guys, and a lot of these guys will have a shot in the big leagues next year. So you just got to go out and play your best.
The one thing I wanted to ask you is you look at the pitching numbers. A lot of teams have struggled. I mean, you got 2 teams here. The ERAs over 5 as team ERAs. Anyway, is there any one particular guy that stands out for you? I mean, for me last year, Josh Stewart, you could just tell this guy was ready for the big leagues, and he ended up making his debut. Is there anyone that has stood out over the first couple of weeks for you?
I was thinking about that the other day, and I can't hardly remember people that I've faced. I just can't remember their names.
You're just that good.
No, it's not that at all. I just, one name that sticks out was DeJuan Brazelton, because I faced him a few years ago, and then I got to face him again a couple weeks ago, and he's matured over the last couple of years, and he's got some better stuff on his pitches, and it seems like he knows how to pitch.
Sure.
Well, as you get older and as you play more games, the power is going to develop. Is that something that you can come into a fall league and work on, or is it just a matter of trying to drive the ball, get stronger, play every day?
Yeah, I think that's one thing I'm trying to work on here is, I've always been able to get the hits, and my average has been good, but the power hasn't been where I've wanted it to or where the Giants have wanted it to. So I'm trying to use this league right now, just try to drive the ball more and, I'm using this off season, hit the weights pretty hard and try to get stronger.
When they put you at first base, they kind of expect a little bit. I mean, there's a little bit of pressure as far as playing first base, as far as driving in runs and hitting the long ball.
Exactly, there is. I don't want to let them down, and I don't want to let myself down. So, like I said, I'm going to, work hard this off season and get stronger.
Especially in San Francisco, because the fans there really don't care about their baseball. They're really easygoing folks, and you can just pretty much smile, wave to them, and they'll be happy all season long, won't they?
I don't know. I think you got to put up some numbers, and I mean that's a tough park to hit home runs in. You look at this field here, and this looks big. You get to Pac-Bell, and there's no comparison. That's a big field there, and the ball doesn't travel too well to left field.
No question about it. That's probably one of the toughest as far as fans are concerned in Major League Baseball. Them and the Phillies fans, they're brutal.
Right? Yeah,
flat out brutal.
I got lucky just experiencing it in September. It was just a good environment to be around. We're 12 games up in the division, so everybody was happy, but. I can imagine if you were struggling there, they'd get all over you.
When you think about your development, you had a great Cape Cod season. You progressed quickly through the minors, a chance to get to the majors this September, and now the fall league. I mean, it really has been kind of a process for you, but a quick one, and one I'm sure that's been very enjoyable.
Oh, it really has. I mean, it's, this past month being in San Francisco was a dream come true for me, and, my whole family got to come out and watch, and it's a lot of fun. And, the past couple of years I've had some injuries that have, I don't know if they've necessarily slowed me down, but mentally it's been kind of rough on me. So it was good to finally get there and take a step back and just watch.
Let me ask you, is there an advantage for you and for Lyndon, all the Giants guys, playing in this ballpark as far as getting a feel for it, knowing that spring training is held right here?
Yeah, I mean, the more you play in any field, the more you get used to it, you feel more comfortable at it. So I think it's definitely an advantage. The more games we get to play here, the more comfortable we'll be in spring training.
Well, Lance, best of luck to you. We thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you at the big league level next year.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You got it. Lance Sneaker of the San Francisco Giants, our guest. Javelinas retired in order in their half of the seventh inning. We head to the seventh inning stretch. Javelinas lead at 4-2 as you listen to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks the sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it. Jake Maurer leads it off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Just fouls one off his foot and ricochets over towards the third baseman, Lambanera. 0-2 the count on the Twins' farmhand. 4-2 Javelinas lead it, bottom of the 7th inning. Victor Rojas alongside Brett Dolan, who's joined me. Made the long trek up, the 6.5-hour drive from Tucson, just to come and spend time with me in the booth. Actually, it's only about an hour, depending on how heavy that foot is. About an hour and 10 minutes.
Pretty scenic drive, though, isn't it?
It's a beautiful drive.
Yes, it is.
Kind of reminds me of the drive from El Paso to Houston. Very scenic. 0-2 pitch to Maurer, fastball upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4 runs and 6 hits, no errors for Peoria. 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Grand Canyon Rafters. 1-2 for McClellan, fastball low. Count is evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. McClellan came in the 5th inning with just 1 out. Was able to get 2 outs, retired the side in order. And he's getting Maurer here to ground to the third baseman, Lamendora. He throws on to first base for the first out. That's 6 in a row. Retired by McClellan. And that'll bring up Jamie Athis out of the Giants organization. Athis is second baseman, 1 for 2. He's going to come back to the pitcher, and he's also singled. First pitch from McClellan is fouled off to the left side and out of play. No balls and a strike. As we talk a little bit about what's going on around Major League Baseball, Frank Thomas has picked up his option for next year, so he'll return to the Chicago White Sox. Lee Mazzilli is just interviewed for the Baltimore Orioles managerial opening.
Who hasn't interviewed for that job?
He's the 8th person to be interviewed for that job, and Grady Little is now next. Big breaking ball missing high to the left-handed batter. Count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, you wonder, you talk about jobs that are wide open. You wonder if you have a parameter or some thoughts on where you want to go when you're interviewing that many people.
I don't think anybody knows. You got to keep in mind, you got two-headed monster there in Baltimore as far as the general manager situation, Mike Flanagan, Jim Beattie. And then, of course, you have to deal with the owner, Peter Angelos. Fastball high, 3 balls and a strike. Matt Walbeck has retired as a player and will accept a managerial job in the minor league system of the Detroit Tigers. He'll be managing A-ball at West Michigan. That fastball is in there. Full count now. Walbeck hit $174 and 138 at-bats for the Tigers this season. He did have a home run, 6 runs batted in. Payoff pitch on the way. There's a slow roll to the shortstop, Adams. He's got it near the bag. Throws over to first base in time for the second out. I tell you what, McClellan's come in and done a nice little job here. 2 up and 2 down. Takes us back to the top of the order. Nuke Logan. And the free agent marketplace continues to get flooded as Tampa Bay Devil Rays now have declined the option on first baseman Travis Lee, former Diamondback.
What was he making? About $4 or $5 million with Tampa Bay this year?
I'm looking it up here. I think doesn't say. Logan trying to bunt, hits one right back to McClellan, throws over to Santos at first base to retire Logan as he retires his side for the second consecutive inning. We've played 7 here from Scottsdale. 4-2. Peoria leads at AFL Action Live on MLB.com radio.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful major league career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL of Fame.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot shot for 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stearns. And Stearns' cut-off mascot. Now that's
teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund, a partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
Top of the eighth inning we go. Pitching change for the Grand Canyon Rafters. Right-hander out of the San Francisco Giants organization, Luke Anderson, comes in relief of Pat Neshek. Neshek went 2 innings, allowed just 1 hit, but it was a 3-run jack. Terrell Goodwin in the top of the 6th inning. That is the difference in this ball game as the Javelinas lead the Rafters 4-2. Scott Bukowski, the DH, will lead it off. Batting from the left side, takes a fastball right down the pipe for strike 1. Anderson down here in the AFL, no record at 289 earned run average. This will be his 8th ball game. 9 in the 3rd inning, 6 hits. He has struck out 5, walked 4. Off speed, down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Anderson makes his home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Selected by the Giants, 18th round back in 2000. Went to UNLV. That fastball lined into right center field. Leadoff base hit. Around first is Bukowski, but he'll hold right there. As the Javelinas have a leadoff man on, base hit. With nobody out, and it'll be Chad Santos stepping in. Luke Anderson split time between 3 ball clubs this year, battling back from injury. Rookie ball with the Giants here in Arizona, then went to Salem, Northwest League, and then Norwich is where he ended up. So 13 games. Hot smash pass to diving second baseman Athos into right field. Around second is Bukowski. He'll head to third. Going to second is Santos as he is in there with a double. Linden had to slide in right center field. Otherwise, that ball gets past him and all the way to the wall. But a heads-up play by Santos, who's got pretty good speed, ends up at second base. And back-to-back singles will lead off the top of the 8th inning for John Lavandera. Infield will come in for the Rafters with nobody out, runners at second and third base. Lavandera out of the Expos organization, 0 for 2, including a walk. Anderson working from the stretch. First pitch swinging is Lavandera, and he fouls one off to the right side and out of play for strike 1. So leadoff single by Bukowski, a double by Santos. This is where we stand right now. Peoria leading at 4-2 as time is called. Anderson gets his sign. Right-hander comes set, the 0-1. Breaking ball swung on it, missed. No balls and 2 strikes. Action in Peoria's bullpen. Zach McClellan from the Royals has done a nice job since coming in relief of Cameron Reimers. The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reimers, who started for Peoria, went 4 1/3, scattered 6 hits, didn't strike out anybody, walked 2 and gave up 2. 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed on a good hard slider. And Lavandera goes down swinging for the first out. And just a second strikeout of the game for either team. Both have come for Grand Canyon.
Well, that was an important one, but now here comes the guy who batted with a couple of guys on 2 innings ago and deposited one about 410 feet away.
And Terrell Goodwin from the Blue Jays steps in from the left side, 1 for 3. A 3-run jack in the 6th inning. He's also struck out and float out. Anderson's first pitch is lined down the left field line, but that'll slice foul. Goodwin trying to go the other way with it. Good idea, especially with the infield drawn in. Finds himself in the hole and no balls and a strike. Goodwin came in hitting .275, no home runs, now has one. And only 2 RBIs, but now has 5. An opportunity here to pad the Javelinas lead with runners at second and third base. Oh, 1 pitch on the way, change up, little number right back to the pitcher. Looks the runner back at third, fires to first, and in time for out number 2. So Luke Anderson has done a nice job after giving up the single to Bukowski, the double to Santos. Getting Lavendera to strike out. And Goodwin on a comebacker, good changeup. And Goodwin nubbed back to him. But he still has to battle a good hitter in Russ Adams, the shortstop. Adams is 2 for 3, 2 singles, a stolen base, a run scored, and a flyout. Top 8, 4-2. Peoria leads it against Grand Canyon. First pitch to Adams, breaking ball low. 1 ball and no strikes. Peoria trying to break a 4-game losing streak. Coming into this one at 5-17, 6 games back. Including the heartbreaker 2 days ago as the fastball misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. In that game 2 days ago against the Scottsdale Scorpions, the Javelinas broke it open in the 5th inning with 9 runs, sending 14 batters to the plate. 2-0 to Adams, down low. 3 balls and no strikes. The Javelinas, their pitching is really what did them in. Allowed 8 walks in the last 3 innings of that ball game. And Scottsdale scored 11 runs in the last 3 innings to win that ball game 15-14. Ground ball right side. Second baseman Athos has got it, throws on to first. We're out number 3. So Anderson gets out of trouble. 2 singles, 1 single, 1 double, 2 men left on base. No runs come across. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Javelinas leading at 4-2. AFL action live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Derek Dieter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
Avoid going into spring training wondering where the free agents have landed and what your team looks like heading into the 2004 season. Let MLB.com radio keep you informed with our Hot Stove Report. Mainstays Seth Everett, Billy Sample, and Jonathan Mayo bring you the most up-to-date information while they chat with general managers, scouts, and those inside. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean we stop thinking baseball. The Hot Stove Report, found only at MLB.com radio.
Hi, this is Tommy Lasorda. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my good friend, Ben Platt, for the great interviews he does on MLB.com radio.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You know, I try to interview everyone in baseball, from Hall of Famers like you to the new stars just coming on the scene, every morning on the Baseball Breakfast with Billy Sample and Jonathan Mayo, and afternoons on deck with Seth Everett and Victor Rojas.
Hey, Ben, one thing I don't get is, what's this Benny P stuff?
Tommy, it's just a radio nickname they gave me back in the station.
Benny P this, Benny P that. You weren't Benny P 10 years ago when you started out covering the Dodgers. I'm one of the few guys that knew you when you were poor. Man, I thought you were going to soil yourself every time you did an interview with me.
Man, last year you accused me of starting the Kingman interview, now this. The Benny P interviews, exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Benny P, what a joke.
Bottom of the 8th inning we go. Javelinas leading at 4-2. Pitching change for Peoria. Jimmy Serrano, the right-hander, also out of the Royals organization, comes in relief of Zach McClellan, who was absolutely perfect. 2 2/3 innings. The rest zeros. A nice job by him as he retired. 8 consecutive batters coming in relief. of Cameron Reimers. Serrano, a right-hander, works from the stretch. Big breaking ball. First pitch to Sean Boyd inside for ball one. Getting the numbers on Serrano here as Boyd fouls one back behind the plate. Serrano 1-2 on a 5.63 earned run average. In 9 ball games, he does have a save, 8 innings. 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, nobody. He hasn't walked anybody, pardon me. At a Grand Junction, Colorado. 18th round selection by the Expos back in 1998. 1-1 pitch, fouled off the mask of Hankins, pardon me. 1-2 the count. Serrano was traded by the Expos with outfielder Jason Bay to the Mets for shortstop Luke Collier. That was back in 2002. And then traded by the Mets to the Royals for a player to be named later, July 5th of this season, out of the University of New Mexico. And had a good season for both Norfolk and Omaha. Breaking ball inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Norfolk 1-2 in 27 games, a 239 earned run average. No saves. And at Omaha, Pacific Coast League, 3-2 and a 3.21 ERA, 19 games. He did have 3 saves there. Serrano comes set, the 2-2 pitch, fastball away. And the count has run full to 3 balls and 2 strikes. May have seen all we're going to see out of Luke Anderson for the Rafters. As there's action in the right field bullpen for Grand Canyon. Payoff pitch, fouled back to the screen. Brad Thompson out of the Cardinals organization, a right-hander starting to loosen in that right field bullpen. Serrano comes set, another payoff pitch on the way. Fastball low, and Boyd is on board with a leadoff walk. Third walk issued by Javelinas pitchers this afternoon. And that'll bring up Michael Vento out of the Yankees organization. With nobody out, a man on at first base.
Does stand to reason that when you would be by yourself, you get the 15-14 game.
Absolutely.
Things would be at a different pace if you have a little help or somebody to bounce something off of.
As opposed to just myself. Breaking ball to Vento, missing low. Ball 1. Yeah, I mean,
well, that was the way with Necro. He gets up here and boom, 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 6 up, 6 down. He had a lot to say. We didn't have much time for him.
Well, I got the game. Game number 1 was on Monday. That was Peoria, the Saguaros, taking on Mesa. As Vento fouls one back and out of play. 1 ball and a strike. 2 hours and 5 minutes. 1 hitter. And I'm thinking to myself, this Arizona Fall League stuff is easy. And then we bounced back with a 3-hour and 49-minute gem the next day. Yesterday wasn't so bad. Solar Shocks dropping one to the Desert Dogs, 4-3. And then a 2-run game here, 4-2, as Peoria leads it in the bottom of the 8th inning. Serrano sets the 1-1. Breaking ball down and away from the right-hand hitting Vento. 2 balls and a strike. Vento 0 for 3, 2 ground outs to the shortstop. He's also flown out to right field. Power hitting right fielder Todd Linden awaits on deck. 2-1. There's the pitch down low. 3 balls and a strike, and Serrano's come in and struggled with his control, and that seems to be pretty much the synopsis of the majority of the pitching here in the Arizona Fall League. Guys that have struggled with their control, with the exception of some of their starters. The DeJuan Brazeltons of the world. Reimers walked 2 today, didn't give up a hit or strike out anybody. And Bonilla, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. And that pitch missed outside, ball 4. So runners at first and second base, and I'm sure Frank White's turning gray as we speak. 2 walks to lead off the 8th inning as his ball club leads it by 2, and flashbacks to 2 days ago.
You know, sometimes, though, you feel like you're kind of in mid-season form in June and July. Maybe by August or early September, you start to get tired. You take a couple of weeks off before you come to the fall league, and it's like starting all over again sometimes. You don't feel like you have the control or maybe the location on some of your pitches. And some of these guys look like they're certainly battling through that fatigue, if you will.
Yep. Serrano will have his hands full. Lavandera flashing signs over at third base. Highly doubt that Todd Linden will be in a bunt or sacrifice situation. You wouldn't want to take the bat out of your best power hitting player into your lineup. First and second, nobody out. He is bunting, and breaking ball is in there. Strike one. And we'll see if they make the change. See if Linden was just showing bunt to maybe shift the defense around. Gary Tiffey awaits on deck. Linden 0 for 2. He has flown out twice. He's also been hit by a pitch and scored a run. 0-1 pitch. He is bunting. He drops one out in front of the plate. Serrano's got it. He's going to go to third. And they force out Boyd over at third base.
There was no doubt that Serrano should have gone to third, but he took a sweet time. He almost waited too long flipping that to first. Kind of gets through a change-up over in the direction of Lavandera.
Kind of surprise on the play. Linden reaches on the fielder's choice. Bento goes to second. Not too often you have your cleanup hitter moving runners over. Especially down by 2, a home run puts you in the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Instead, there's one out, still runners at first and second, and Terry Tiffey, the first baseman, will step in. And he drives one to dead center field. Jamal Strong's going to track this one down. Bento's going to tag from second. Strong makes the catch. He's going to throw back to second base. Bento will reach at third. So Tiffey gave it a ride, just not enough.
Well, guys like Strong and DeJesus, they just look confident out there in the outfield. This is not an easy state to play outfield outside, if you will, in the winds and the clouds and the smog and the sunshine. They've handled them all well.
Well, Hernandez will step in, the catcher. 0 for 2. He is lined into a double play, walked, and popped out to the shortstop. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. With the Grand Canyon Rafters trailing it by 2. 4-2, Peoria leads it. Serrano working from the stretch. And the first pitch of Hernandez. That one's pulled through the hole. Past a diving shortstop Adams in the left field. Bento comes across the score. It's a 1-run deficit. An RBI base hit for Hernandez. That's his second ribeye of the Arizona Fall League. Linden moves to second base. And now the Raptors need a big base hit here to tie it up. Still 2 outs. As Donald Kelly, the shortstop, will be asked to drive home Linden from second. Kelly swinging the first pitch. Hits one to the left side. Adams backhanded, throws to third to Lavandera, and they force out Linden at third for the third out. That was the only play Adams had. Nice play by the shortstop. But the Raptors do put a run on the board. On 1 hit, they do strand 2 runners if we've played 8. 4-3, Peoria leads it. You're listening to AFL Action Live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
Now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize. And I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat, and pitch it to him high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Bill Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Out of the ninth inning we go for 3. Peoria leads it. New pitcher of record for the Grand Canyon Rafters, right-hander Brad Thompson steps in place of Luke Anderson, who went an inning, gave up 2 hits, struck out a batter, the rest zeros. Thompson out of the Cardinals organization, 6'1", 190-pound right-hander. Las Vegas, spent time at A-Ball Palm Beach. Ground ball to the right side. Tiffy's got it. Throws on to Thompson, covering it first. To retire, the leadoff man, Aaron Miles. Nice play by Tiffy, ranging to his left near the foul line. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Jamal Strong. Thompson 1-0. This will be his 5th ball game. He does have his save, 6 1/3 innings. He's given up just 1 hit, struck out 4, walked 2 batters down here in the AFL. And Strong takes a first pitch fastball in there for strike 1. Swinging at the next pitch, loops one into center field. That's going to fall in there. So Jamal Strong has his first hit of the afternoon. That's the 9th hit of the game for Peoria. With 1 out, a man on at first base. David DeJesus will step in. A throw over from Thompson. Strong dives back. Jamal looking for his first stolen base of the Arizona Fall League. DeJesus looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He's 0 for 4, including 2 fielder's choice. First pitch on the way. Fastball in there. Strike 1. Looks as if Jimmy Serrano will be in there to close it out in the bottom of the 9th inning for Peoria. Another throw to first base, no tag by Tiffy. Miles grounded out to first. Strong single to center, and that's where we stand right now. Tomorrow afternoon, Scottsdale Scorpions hosting the Mesa Desert Dogs, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on MLB.com radio. DeJesus shoots one down the left field line, but that'll slice out of play. No balls and 2 strikes on the right fielder, who's made 2 terrific catches on the defensive side. Nice job today by the umpiring crew, led by Dusty Dellinger, behind the plate. Darren Williams at first. Andy Dowdy at second base. Jeff Burr over at third base. The 0-2, there goes a runner. Jesus fouls one off into the seats along the third base side. So Strong will have to head back over to first base. Count remains no balls, 2 strikes. Thompson gets his sign. Right-hander comes at, checks the runner. The 0-2, fastball low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Both Grand Canyon and Peoria out of the National Division. Grand Canyon 10-12, a game back of the Desert Dogs, who lead the division with an even 500 mark at 11-11. Peoria 5-17, 6 games back. That pitch off speed outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, good crowd on hand. Last night here in Scottsdale, 613. Night game under the lights.
Giving away any bobbleheads? There's a few around here I think we're going to steal.
Craig Council.
Yeah.
A lot of alumni come out of this league and had tremendous success. Look out in left field here, all the members of the Hall of Fame. There goes Strong. Pitch downstairs, a throw down by Hernandez. Shortstop side, and Strong is in there with his first stolen base of the Arizona Fall League. Not a good throw at all by Hernandez. Had a good pitch to handle, a fastball away. And the count is run full on DeJesus, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, last year, one of the guys who was in the Fall League was Rocco Baldelli. And, not a lot of people knew about him. He was one of those guys that Baseball America named as their player of the year. But it wasn't until April and May that most people started to realize, hey, that guy's pretty good. Not a bad hitter.
Payoff pitch, and DeJesus lines one into right center field. Back goes Linden, still going back. That ball is gone. Off the berm in right field, a 2-run shot. It gives the Javelinas a cushion as they lead it now 6-3. DeJesus gets his 3rd home run of the Arizona Fall League, and RBIs number 6 and 7. Thompson, who had gotten ahead of DeJesus, no balls and 2 strikes. Couldn't find the strike zone, went 3-2, had to come in there.
Take a couple of runs away with your glove and provide a couple with your bat. Pretty good day for DeJesus.
No question. Still 1 out, and Ryan Hankins, the catcher, steps in. Thompson's breaking ball in there, strike 1. So what was a 1-run game now is a 3-run lead for the Javelinas. Hankins was on the fastball, but fouled it back to the screen. 0-2 the count. Double digits in hits for the Javelinas, 10. 7 for the Rafters. 0-2 on the way. Curveball pulled down the third base line. Fair. Over to cut it off is Boyd, the left fielder, and hold Hankins on at first base with a single. So Thompson hung that breaking pitch, and Hankins was able to keep it fair down the line. That's 3 consecutive hits issued by Thompson. And Scott Bukowski will step in, looking for his 2nd hit of the afternoon, as he is 1 for 3, including being hit by a pitch. He takes a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Javelinas is made up of prospects from the Blue Jays, Royals, Expos, Mariners, and the White Sox. Grand Canyon Rafters, on the other hand, prospects out of the Twins, Yankees, Giants, Cardinals, and Tigers organizations. The 0-1 pitch to Bukowski, outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Each Major League organization provides 6 players. And 5 Major League organizations make up a team in the Arizona Fall League. Therefore, there are 6 ball clubs down here. 1-1. Check swing. Pitch miss low. 2 balls and a strike.
Kind of seeing some themes today. Seeing a lot of White Sox and Twins and Royals players, for example. Giants, been a handful of those guys in the game today.
2-1. Off speed, slap foul. Up the third base side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got away with one little off speed pitch that was up in the zone. Count even to 2-2. As we were talking about that Hall of Fame for the Arizona Fall League, Nomar Garcia-Parr, Jason Giambi, Jerry Manuel, Dusty Baker. As Bukowski slaps one into left field, base hit, Hankins will hold it 2nd. So that's 4 consecutive hits given up by Brad Thompson. And That was after he got Aaron Miles to ground out to lead off the ninth. A single to Jamal Strong, a 2-run home run to David Jesus, a base hit to Ryan Hankins, and a base hit to Scott Bukowski. As runners at first and second base, 1 out, and Chad Santos stepping in. Just wrapping up that Hall of Fame list. Mike Piazza and Mike Scioscia, and then later on in the Arizona Fall League this season, John Green and Todd Helton will be inducted into the Arizona Fall League Hall of Fame. Santos slaps one over to the third baseman, Maurer. He goes to second for 1, on to first in time for the inning-ending double play, but not before Peoria puts 2 runs on the board on 4 hits. The big blast, a 2-run shot by David DeJesus. As we head to the bottom of the ninth inning, Javelinas lead at 6-3. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize. And I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat and pitch it to him high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Bill Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. Kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game. MLB.com radio.
Out of the bottom of the ninth inning we go. Javelinas leading at 6-3. Victor Rojas alongside Brett Dolan. Brett, before you leave, just want to say thank you for joining me here in the booth. It's been a pleasure. Love having you here, big man.
Boy, nothing better than a nice afternoon, a bowl game going on where the rest of the world works, and had a good time.
No question. That'll be Maurer leading it off for the Rafters. Athos and then Logan against the Royals right-hander Jimmy Serrano, third pitcher of record, delivers a first pitch fastball, first strike 1. Maurer 2 for 3, 2 singles, a run scored, and he fouls one off to the right side. No balls and 2 strikes. Serrano struggled a little bit in his first inning in the bottom of the 8th, issuing back-to-back walks to lead off the inning, a single, and scored a run. Serrano comes set, 0-2 pitch. Fastball looped into right center field. Jesus going to play that on the bounce. And Maurer has his third hit of the ball game. All 3 singles. That'll lift that batting average up that came in at 214. So Jamie Athos, left-hand batting second baseman out of the Giants organization, will step in. With Duke Logan, leadoff man center fielder, waiting on deck. Athos 1 for 3, including a single. Serrano's first pitch fouled off the mask of Hankins. No balls and a strike. Oh, 1 pitch on away, missing downstairs. Ball 1.
Well, it wasn't easy for Serrano last inning either. He had to get a couple of good defensive plays. Bunt play to third, in addition to that force out at third by Adams to win the inning. And might not be easy on him here in the 9th either.
Serrano sets 1-1 pitch, and that is an off speed that misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. Peoria's had some problems in closing out games. Majewski came in the other day against Scottsdale, blew it. Had a 4-run lead, gave up 5 runs. Thanks for coming. A 2-1 from Serrano. That one's fouled back and out of play. There haven't been too many guys, at least that I've noticed, that have just outstanding velocity down here. Nobody's just blowing hitters away. Brazelton's the one guy that looks about as polished as it can be right now, working both sides of the plate, mixing in off-speed pitches, and basically doing what he wants to do within a count. Everyone else seems to be average. Swing and a miss as Serrano gets Athos with a high fastball.
Well, we've seen that a lot today. We've seen some guys with the breaking balls and the sliders and the curves. You know, one guy I think who was in this league last year, who was probably along those lines of more of a power pitcher, was a guy by the name of Brian Bruni, and he's somebody who's going to be on that Team USA, that 24-man roster. And again, you keep referencing that. But when you take, you take 24 of the best players who could be in this league and put them in a different level, it does dilute the talent just a bit.
It sure does. One out here in the 9th inning. Nick Logan, the center fielder, with excellent speed, steps up. 0 for 4 today, though. Hitting from the left side. Lavandera at the cut of the grass at third. He fouls one back to the screen. Logan is grounded out to short, grounded back to the pitcher, grounded to first, and flown out to right field. So he's been a little bit of everywhere. Tough guy to double up here to get out of this ball game. Serrano sets. And the 0-1. It popped up left side, out of play. And Serrano's gotten ahead of Logan, and no balls and 2 strikes. As a reminder, tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, right here, Scottsdale Stadium, the Scorpions hosting the Mesa Desert Dogs. And the Scorpions, as of today, 11-11, 3.5 games back in the American Division. The Desert Dogs, as I mentioned earlier, 11-11, leading the National Division. Logan pops one up, left side, out of play. So the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Sean Boyd awaits on deck. 6 runs and 12 hits, no errors for Peoria, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 1 defensive miscue for the Grand Canyon Rafters. The 0-2, fastball upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just to give you the final line on Brad Thompson of the Rafters. 1 inning of work. He allowed 4 hits, didn't strike out anybody, didn't walk anybody, and allowed 2 hits, including the home run to De Jesus. Serrano trying to pick up his 2nd save down here in the Arizona Fall League. 1-2 on the way. Logan pops one up right field. De Jesus goes back, now comes in. He'll camp under it, make the catch for out number 2. As Maurer has to retreat to first base. So it'll be up to Sean Boyd to keep this thing going for the Grand Canyon Rafters. And if the score holds up, that would snap a 3-game winning streak for the Rafters, and it would snap a 4-game losing streak for the Peoria Javelinas. Boyd, a right-handed hitter out of the St. Louis Cardinals organization, does have a hit this afternoon, including a walk. Takes a fastball right down the pipe for strike 1. Boyd came in hitting .266 with a home run, 9 runs batted in. Serrano comes set. 0-1, breaking ball hits him in the face. Looked like it got a bit of, or sounded as if it got a bit of the helmet. Boyd trying to get out of the way. It looked as if the ball may have ricocheted off the helmet down toward the mouth area.
Well, don't forget, we were talking about him earlier. A couple of years ago, he had his season ended, hit on the left side of the face. He broke his cheekbone, he broke his nose, and this not near as serious, but just as scary in some senses.
He's fine, and he'll head over to first base. Thankfully, it was just a breaking ball that got away from Serrano. It keeps the inning alive. That is the fourth hit batter in this game.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good defense today, and kind of a rough track, but we've had some loud ones up and in.
Runners at first and second base. Still 2 outs. Mike Vento will be the batter.
He does represent the tying run. He does have 4 home runs in the fall league, so this one isn't over just yet.
May God strike you down. A visit to the mound by the Javelinas pitching coach, Mark Grader, out of the Montreal Expos organization. And he makes his way back to that third base dugout. Well, first and second, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Javelinas up 6-3, trying to get one more out and seal the victory. Venta 0 for 3, 2 ground outs, a fly out. He's also walked and scored. Toronto first pitch fastball, missing up and away to the right-handed batter for strike one. Pardon me, ball one. Wishful thinking on my part. Serrano's come set, checks the runner at second, 1-0, breaking ball low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Whatever his pitching coach had to say didn't exactly work because those first 2 have not been anywhere near the zone.
Nope. And you can go back to the 8th inning and at a point where you had runners at first and second at Grand Canyon, and your power-hitting cleanup hitter, Todd Linden, up there in a 1-run ball game. And you had him bunting. 2-run ball game, pardon me. And Vento pops one up right side out of play. 2 balls and a strike. A great play by a fan here in the stands. 1 foul ball for every person in attendance.
And you don't even have to work that hard for them.
No. You don't have to break a sweat to go get a foul ball here. Serrano finally comes set. 2-1 pitch. Fastball low. 3 balls and a strike. And it could get very interesting if Linden comes up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Three 3-1 pitch on the way. That was pulled through the hole into left field, base hit. Mauer's being waved around. He's going to score easily. No throw from the left fielder, Goodwin. And it's a 6-4 lead for the Javelinas. And now you have the situation in which Linden is going to come up representing the winning run.
Well, so many times during the postseason, I found myself saying, how difficult is it to get that third out? You know, what does a team have to do to get that final out of an inning? And that's exactly what Serrano's thinking here in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, one idea would be to try to throw strikes and get ahead of the count as opposed to pitching from behind. You increase the hitter's average when you fall behind as a pitcher, as was the case right there to Mike Vento. Didn't try to do too much with it either. Just trying to put the ball in play. Got a base hit, picked up the ribeye. His 19th of the Arizona Fall League. So Vento having a nice offensive season in the AFL. I figured if I said it enough times, I'd actually get it out.
You've got another 2 weeks to get it down.
Yeah. Todd Linden steps in now. First pitch, fastball away, ball 1. And now action, scurrying in the bullpen for the Peoria Javelinas. It looks like Sherrill, the left-hander. That's George Sherrill. Serrano comes set, checks Boyd at second. 1-0. Linden fouls one back to the screen. 1 ball and a strike. 2 outs still, bottom of the ninth. 6-4 Peoria leads it. Grand Canyon threatening. First and second base, 2 outs. Terry Tiffey awaits on deck if Linden can extend the inning. Serrano, the right-hander. 1-1 pitch down low. Hankins, nice job keeping that ball in front of him, preventing the runners from advancing. 2 balls and a strike. Good hitters count here. Got to be careful.
Serrano's body language right now is not that of, I'm going to end this game, I'm going to finish you off. He's kind of shrugging his shoulders from time to time. Still that 1 out away, but frustration might be setting in.
2-1 pitch on the way. Linden lanes one. Oh, nice diving play by the second baseman, Aaron Miles, to end the ball game. We've talked about the great defense in this game. And that's the perfect way to go out. A line out by Todd Linden would have scored at least 1 run. But the Rafters make it interesting. They do score 1 in the 9th inning on 2 hits. They strand 2 runners. But the Javelinas pick up the win, 6-4 the final, 6 runs on 12 hits. No errors, 9 left on for Peoria. 4 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. 9 left on for the Grand Canyon Rafters as Cameron Reimers picks up his first win of the season. And Henry Bonilla suffers a loss, his first of the Arizona Fall League. For Brett Dolan, as well as Dan Gentili back down in the New York studios, the plush New York studios, that is MLB.com. Victor Ross, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Scottsdale Scorpions host the Mesa Desert Dogs live from Scottsdale, Arizona. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.